Hello and welcome to Hindsighting, where we normally discuss all the movies to win the Best Picture Oscar and try to figure out if this picture truly is the best or is time rendered a different verdict. I'm Edward Clown. My guest today wants to say that while he is a guy named Scott Frank who works in TV and has an Emmy, he's not that Scott Frank who works in TV and has an Emmy, the much better known creator and writer of The Queen's Gambit. This Scott Frank is an anthropologist who has worked in TV for over a decade and got his PhD writing about how what we see on screen influences what we believe about the world in real life. So this Scott Frank, welcome back to Hindsighting.
Hey, happy to be here. And I know everywhere it says, hey, I'm really happy to be here, but I'm very sincere when I say, hey, I'm really happy to be here.
Well, I believe your sincerity. This episode is part of our mini-series 1981ers, where we examine a single movie from 1981, and today we're looking at For Your Eyes Only, which received one Oscar nomination for Best Original Song. So Scott, why 1981? When I was a kid, I went to this video store. It was called Video Pursuit, and I went there for 10 years, 1986 and 1996. So 7 or 8 to just before I turned 18. It closed, sadly. And I would walk around and I would look at all the boxes and I'd flip them over, because I wanted to see what they were about. And I was curious what year. And it seemed like every movie I looked at came out in 1981. Now, I know that's not possible,
Right.
but it just definitely, this whole miniseries is kind of based on that nostalgia, just that moment of thinking like, God, did everything come out in 1981?
Yeah.
So it's kind of two-pronged. There's that nostalgia, but then there's also, which I talked about way back in our Chariots episode, there's a ton of great movies this year. By my count, there's 18 to 20 great movies. Not all of them are cinematic masterpieces, but the worst one is like really, really good.
Yeah.
And only 2 of them got Best Picture consideration. Some got like a Best Actor nomination, Best Screenplay nomination here and there. This one we're talking about got a Best Song nomination. But I feel like 1981 is one of those years where if we had 10 slots for 10 movies back then, we could easily fill those 10 slots.
Yeah.
Whereas to this day, I'm not sure we need 10 slots. Some years warrant it, some years don't.
Is it a set 10 slots or is it you can
it's up
have
to 10?
10?
It's up to 10. So they did 10 back in 2010 for the '09 Oscars. They went up to 10.
Yeah.
I think they did 10 that year, maybe 10 the next year. And then I think for a couple years, and my stat's a little soft on this, but as we get into that decade, I'll bone up on this.
Yeah.
They did like 8 or 9.
Yeah, that's what I was kinda
so
thinking.
it's up to 10.
Yeah.
You don't have to do 10. But I think we had 10 just this year. And I think it's been up to 10 recently. But yes, it's up to 10, not you have to do 10.
Yeah.
Whereas when it was 5, it was never 3, it was never 2.
Right.
So yeah, it's up to 10. So 81 is something I have some nostalgia for, and it seemed like a lot of directors I was starting to learn about had a movie out this year. It also seemed like a lot of franchises, including the one we're talking about today, had a movie out this year. But what's interesting is, we talked about Superman 2, both versions in a previous episode. Raiders of the Lost Ark obviously is the original, but it spawns a franchise that was running until 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And this is, we're about to talk about the 12th James Bond movie. And I don't know that my nostalgia, I don't know that we'd be doing this miniseries if there weren't a James Bond movie in 1981. I could have done 1986ers, 1984ers, 1987ers, 1988, almost every year in the 80s, with maybe 2 exceptions. None of them are bad. We're just so rich.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of ties into what we talked about in our Best Picture episode, the one you and I did on Gandhi, is that there's just so much going on in the 80s.
Yeah.
We don't have to go through all that again, but there's just really something for everybody.
Yeah.
And I that's why I kind of wanted to focus on this one year for more than just the Chariots
Yeah, no, it makes
episode.
a lot of sense. I dig it.
Yeah. So let's move on to For Your Eyes Only. But first, a few stats and facts. And I bet Scott knows all of these. But for our people who don't know, this is the only Bond movie to date in the official franchise not to feature the character of M. It was the first Bond movie not to feature Bernard Lee as M, who had played the role in the previous 11 movies in the franchise. He died of stomach cancer on January 16th, 1981, after the filming of this movie had started, but before his scenes were shot. Although he was dying, he did try to film at least one scene in the movie, but in the end, it was too much for him and he had to bow out. He died not long afterward. As a result, Q's role in this movie was slightly expanded to fill the gap that M would play. Several scenes originally intended to include M were rewritten for Q. For example, that confessional scene I guess that was supposed to
Oh
be
yeah,
M.
that would make a lot more sense.
A little bit more
obviously.
sense because
Yeah.
Y is Q there. We'll get
Right.
to that. As a mark of respect, Albert R. Broccoli refused to recast the role, changing the script to say that M was on leave.
By the way, let me just say briefly, a quick side.
Yeah.
In that confessional thing, like it's in a small town in northern Italy, and he goes to the confessional, and his contact turns out to be Q. It could have been M. It actually wouldn't make much sense for M to be that you're the head of a major international
Right.
like thing, but you're gonna fly to this teeny town just
Well,
for
M does
a-
that-
I know it's
The last time we
Kinda
see,
funny.
in the previous
Yeah.
movie, well, actually, we've seen M pop up in the field
Yeah.
a few places. But you're right, it wouldn't be either one of them
Yeah.
really, because Q's not even giving him a gadget.
no, just showing up.
Although
for
I do
one.
love the line where he says, "Forgive me, Father," if I've seen like that's putting it mildly,
Yeah.
007. So I think that line is funny. A line of dialogue had to be cut from the opening helicopter sequence for legal reasons. The bald man could not be called Blofeld, as Kevin McClory had won a court case several years before and owned the rights to the use of Spectre and Blofeld. Unofficially disposing of Blofeld so early in this movie was Cubby Broccoli's way of telling McClory that the success of 007 did not depend on him, and he got rid of Blofeld supposedly once and for all. You knew that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's something that Roger Moore and I agree on. We're going to get into more. We're going to get into this more later on. Sir Roger Moore hated the final scene with Margaret Thatcher. He felt that it didn't suit the serious tone of the rest of the film. He also didn't like getting a clue about the ATAC from a parrot. Moore thought it represented the type of silliness that his Bond films were usually criticized for.
Yeah.
Hard agree. We're going to get into that
Yeah.
later. Here's something I always wondered about when I was a kid. Going back to that opening scene, begging Bond to spare his life, quote, Ernst Blofeld, unquote, baffles viewers with the cryptic line, "I'll buy you a delicatessen in stainless steel."
Right? So weird.
Okay, so here's the backstory to that. It is reported that the phrase is attributable to producer Albert R. Broccoli, who recalled accounts of 1930s New York mafia gangsters offering full-service delis as a bribe to cohorts, complete with stainless steel countertops.
And interestingly, an international supervillain is offering that to his upper crust British opponent.
Okay, did you know that until I just told you?
No, I don't think
Okay,
I did.
I didn't
But
know-
I always wondered about that line since I was a kid. I'm like, what?
What the hell is he
God.
talking about? Yeah, it's so inside, not even inside baseball. It's like inside, I don't know what. Inside mafia, I guess.
Weird New York Jewish history, which you don't think figures into James Bond very often, I gotta tell
well,
you.
yeah. I mean, but Broccoli's from New York,
Yeah.
so. To enter the identigraph booth, Q enters 5 digits of a 7-digit code. Those 5 digits were the first 5 notes of the chorus of Nobody Does It Better, the theme of The Spy Who Loved Me. James Bond responds by entering the final 2 notes. The assassination of Melina Havelock's parents was first intended as part of the opening credits sequence. The reaction shot of the murder was intended to cut to a close-up on her face, whereby the look of anger and revenge in her eyes would then segue into the main titles, which is really interesting because that's kind of similar to how No Time to Die opens.
Yeah, also, by the way, like, she nails it. Like,
Yeah.
that scene is iconic. My
Yeah.
day, I could picture that. Like,
Yes.
sweeping her hair back, looking.
Yes, that's a great scene.
Yeah.
We'll get to that. In the movie, James Bond rejects BB's advances, presumably due to her being too young for him. Bond later has a relationship with Melina. Melina is presumably older than BB in the movie. In reality, the two actresses are only a year apart in age.
Mm.
Melina looks a lot older, though.
There's a maturity level
Yeah.
that we're speaking of also,
Yes.
I guess.
This was Bond's first movie to be based on one of Ian Fleming's short stories instead of one of his novels.
Yeah.
Interestingly, there are several scenes in this movie lifted from other Fleming tales. Examples, the assault on the smuggler's boat and warehouse was lifted intact from a short story called Risico, and the sequence featuring Bond and Melina being dragged through the coral was lifted from the climax of the book Live and Let Die. The identigraph appeared in a slightly different form in the book Goldfinger. So
Interesting.
Yeah, they're getting to the end of the Fleming books because he's been dead almost 20 years, and they're really
Yeah, and I remember when I read the Fleming, the story has nothing. The story For Your Eyes Only has nothing to do with the
Right.
movie, is what
Yeah.
I recall.
For Your Eyes Only is a collection of short stories.
Yeah.
It's like For Your Eyes
But there's
Only,
one in
Risico.
it called
For Your Eyes Only.
Yeah, and
It's
it
like
has
For Your Eyes
nothing
Only,
to do with it.
Risico.
There's a Moonraker story in it, isn't it?
No,
one?
Moonraker's his own
Is it?
book.
Okay.
Yeah. The opening scene where Bond visits his wife, Tracy's grave, was written as a way to introduce a new Bond actor, thus linking the new actor to elements from the previous Bond movies. Namely, Timothy Dalton, who was approached to take over as Bond in this movie. Dalton declined as he disliked the direction the franchise was taking at the time.
Ironically, this is one of the most serious Bond movies in a while. So.
Yes. Yeah. The third consecutive Bond movie where Bond's mission takes him to Italy. He wouldn't return there until Casino Royale. And, this is my stat, 3 of the 4 Craig movies would also take place in Italy. Except for Skyfall, he goes
Oh,
to Italy in every one of his movies.
interesting.
Yeah. He even goes back to Italy in Quantum
Huh.
because he starts in Quantum because Quantum obviously picks up where Casino
Right.
leaves off, but he goes
Like
back
Como
to
kinda.
Italy to go find Mathis.
Yeah.
So
Huh.
you can't even count it as a crossover.
Wow.
John Barry could not compose a score for this movie as he allegedly could not return to UK for taxation purposes. This comes up a lot. Just the tax laws in Britain in the late 70s and early 80s apparently were crazy, and there were a lot of tax exiles.
Interesting.
Yes. Rather unique for the franchise, Bond and his leading Bond girl don't share a love scene until the closing credits.
It's very notable, honestly, in the
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Telly Savalas, who played Blofeld in On Her Majesty's Secret Service, was originally approached to reprise the same role for his film's opening, but sadly declined. A double of Blofeld is used instead, and his voice is dubbed by Robert Wrighty, who I believe dubs Adolfo Celli in Thunderball.
Oh, that's
So
interesting.
his voice, and you see this
Yeah.
a lot, kind of people's voices come
Huh.
back and back, particularly the women.
Hmm.
We'll get to that. The producers of this movie wanted Blondie to perform the title song. The band wrote a song titled For Your Eyes Only, but decided to decline the offer when they discovered the producers wanted a recording of Bill Conti's song instead. It appeared on the 1982 album The Hunter.
Huh.
Do you know this song?
I no,
I mean, you need to look
but
it
I
up.
dig Blondie. We saw
like
them in
Blo-
concert.
And
a couple
Blondie
years
would have been
ago.
like a really perfect,
Great.
like right at this
that
time.
era too. My
Yeah.
gosh, it's
That
big.
that would have been like getting Adele or Duran Duran.
I
And
would
probably
say
signed
just like feels like
right,
Duran Duran a couple years.
I'm saying
later.
like right at the perfect time.
Yeah,
like when they
boy.
were white hot.
Boy.
Yeah, would have been interesting.
Still, Sheen Easton, no joke.
No
Well,
joke.
Oscar nominee. So yeah.
Yeah, no, and we're going to talk about Sheen Easton
Yeah.
a lot in just a few minutes. Peter Hunt, who directed on Her Majesty's Secret Service, was approached to direct this movie, but was occupied making Death Hunt. So it's cool. I didn't know that they went back to him.
Yeah.
That would have been interesting. This is the second James Bond film helmed by a first-time director. In this case, John Glenn. The first would be Peter Hunt, who I just mentioned, who did On Her Majesty's Secret Service. Hunt and Glenn both served as editors in the Bond series prior to directing. So, all right. So
Can I
let's-
add one that I suspect is the case, but may not be a number? So this is, I believe, the 12th James Bond movie. Is it not?
It is.
I suspect, and again, maybe I am wrong, that makes this at the time the largest number of movies in a single franchise. It may still be.
Yeah, well, Bond
Has there
movies.
ever been another franchise that had 12 movies to that point?
I would
Is-
argue. Let's start there. I would
Yeah.
argue that there are officially 25 James Bond movies.
Mhm.
If you don't count Never Seen Ever Again and the Casino Royale from the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
67. So if you just stick to the Eon movies, there's
Yeah.
25. There's no other franchise because you can't count Marvel because Marvel is a whole universe.
Yeah.
Like it isn't like Iron Man is in every one of those. There's no one character
Yeah.
in all those Marvel movies.
Yeah.
There's tons of overlap. Like even Nick Fury isn't in every single one. So
Yeah, you're right. They speak
Marvel's
to
a
the
bigger
separate
thing.
franchise. Like there's a Thor franchise
Right.
and a Cap. Yeah,
And there's
okay.
overlap and stuff. So there's never
Yeah.
been
Mhm.
one character
Right.
that's had this many movies.
kinda cool.
With this, unless you think I'm wrong. You're
No,
the
no,
expert.
no. I agree. I just think it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, and I think even at this point, 12 would have been.
Huge.
I think at this point it would have still had the record
by any stretch. What else
Yeah.
had 12 movies in it?
because like things like Tarzan and Lassie and like all
that's
this shit.
true.
But these things are like. It's not the same. It's like where it's like one guy and
Well,
certainly one
Lassie
creative
wasn't
team.
the kind of series still. I mean, there was, but yeah, Tarzan would make sense. Yeah, interesting.
You'd
What
have
if
to
there were
go
like
with-
that many like Charlie Chan movies or something. Maybe.
Yeah,
I
but-
wonder, but I don't know.
Yeah.
12 is a lot.
12 is a lot, and
especially
now
in
we're-
1981.
Right, and now we're double that.
Yeah.
And yeah. So let's talk about this opening scene because it's at the graveyard. This is only the second time since Tracy's murder that they've called back to it. There's a line in The Spy Who Loved Me,
Mm-hmm.
which is the first time it's ever called back to, where Triple X says "wife killed" and Roger Moore
Yeah.
says, "All right, you made your point."
Yeah.
And that was the first time because Majesty's was not a hit,
Yeah.
and it was sort of like, oh, that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Even though it's one of the best Bond movies ever.
Yeah.
So I think this idea of opening the movie this way is really effective.
Yeah.
Because let's talk about where Bond is in his life right now
Mm-hmm.
in 1981. So the previous movie is Moonraker.
Yep.
A movie I love, I have a lot of affection for.
Totally dig it.
But he goes to outer space.
Cheesy as hell.
It's cheesy as hell. The third act of Moonraker is him in outer space, and that's insane.
Yeah.
The only way that would have been not insane is if the first two acts would be Bond training to be an astronaut,
Yes.
like something like Space Cowboys, or
Yeah.
it's like, and even that, like those guys were astronauts. Those guys were in the Air Force.
Yeah.
So if it was like, okay, your mission is to go into space, we're going to train you, but the movie doesn't do that. Probably, to its betterment.
Yeah.
It's a Bond movie
Nobody
like any
wants
other
to
Bond
watch
movie.
that.
And then he hops on a spaceship, and then the entire third act is in space. And
They're
the
like,
movie-
Lois Chiles knows how to fly it. She was an
exactly.
astronaut.
Yeah, she's an astronaut. Like
Yeah.
that's credible. And it was the end of The Spy Who Loved Me said James Bond will return in For Your Eyes Only. Star Wars comes out that same summer.
Mm-hmm.
The entire industry is like, what do we have that's like Star Wars? The Bond people are like, oh, wait, there's a book called Moonraker. The book Moonraker, which I've read, has nothing to do with space. It has to do with rockets.
Uh-huh.
And there is a character named Drax who
Mhm.
is sort of a proto
Mhm.
Elon Musk, like he is in the movie. So they follow
Mhm.
they follow that cash grab,
Yeah.
just like the Black Hole and Alien and
Yep.
Star Trek: The Motion Picture.
Yep.
These aren't bad
Battlestar
movies.
Galactica,
Battlestar-
everything.
Like everybody is trying to hit the water supply in '79 with their own space movie, and Moonraker is the biggest hit of the franchise
Yeah.
to that point.
Yeah.
It makes in $79 $200 million.
That's wild.
Worldwide. It is no Bond movie makes more money until GoldenEye
Wow.
16 years later.
Wow.
So it is a huge hit, and yet there's a decision internally to bring Bond literally back down to earth, to go back to Fleming, to make him a detective. Now, what's interesting is I don't know how much this is predicated on the idea that Roger Moore was not going to come back. He had a 4-film contract
Mm-hmm.
or a 3-film contract and an option for 4. And on the last 3 that he did, he negotiated for more money. You know, he pushed and pushed,
Yeah.
and it was, or at least on this one and Octopus. He actually, ironically, I don't think on A View to a Kill there was a lot of doubt that he would come back, which is
Mhm.
weird considering he was so much older. But
Yeah.
on this one and the next one, there was this idea that he wasn't coming back, and they were looking for another Bond,
Mm-hmm.
and they were screen testing people and talking to people. Nobody was ever announced.
Mm-hmm.
But so this graveyard scene is put in for that reason. It's a new tone, it's a new guy, and we're going to show you that it's the same guy by having him visit Tracy's grave,
Right.
which I think is fantastic.
Yeah.
What's equally fantastic is that when Roger Moore makes his deal, they don't take this scene out.
Yeah.
And again, the first thing you see, the gun barrel, and it opens up, and we're seeing a graveyard. Like right away, you know this is going to be serious.
Yeah.
Or at least that's the intention.
Yeah.
I mean, Thunderball opens with the funeral, but it's different because it's like it's Bond kind of watching it. He's on a mission.
This is a very solitary moment. He's
Yeah.
there alone. It's contemplative. It's very serious.
Yeah, it's Roger Moore
It's not
being
one of
serious.
those things where there's a whole crowd of people and you go to pay. You're like, it's
No,
him.
yeah.
A moment.
It's gray
There were
out.
2 things I noticed this time around.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I've watched it a million times over the years. First of all, the tombstone says her name and it has specific years. And in most movies these days, they go to lengths to not show years on tombstones.
Yeah.
Because they want the movie to feel more timeless. It says
Right.
like maybe it'll say
I know.
19 something and
Yeah.
they're blocking something else.
Right.
But they're very clear. The other thing I didn't really remember, even though if you'd asked me, the priest is dirty. The priest knows James Bond. He's setting James Bond up because
Oh,
James
do you think
Bond-
so?
100%.
Oh, I never made that
James Bond
con-
gets in the helicopter and the priest crosses himself. Like, I know this man is about to die.
You think the priest is dirty?
Priest is totally dirty.
Oh, I didn't even think
the
about
priest
that.
is dirty, and now we're like, I can't believe a dirty priest. But yeah,
No. I
Priest
don't.
is completely dirty. Priest is completely.
So
in
why
on
is
it.
he praying?
Because he's making like that sign. He's like, oh, I know this guy. I just sent James Bond off to die, and James Bond notices it.
No, he does
looks out-
notice
He
it.
looks out the window. He's like, that's odd.
I think
That's why priest is dirty.
Okay. I don't. My take on it was that he's getting in a helicopter and that's dangerous.
No, he knows he's that. There's no reason for that. He knows, and he theoretically doesn't know what James Bond does. He has no reason to think it says universal export.
No, he doesn't know that James Bond is a spy.
No. He's completely set it. The priest is setting James Bond up intentionally.
Oh, I've never heard this take.
100%.
I love this take. I've never heard
100%.
it.
Yeah. Not even a question in my mind.
Wow. I've never heard that take. That's so interesting. Okay, well, Scott, right out of the gate,
Yeah.
you've shined a light on
Blown
this
up the
movie that
movie.
I've seen like, I don't know, 1,000 times,
Same.
however many times I've seen it. And this is your favorite James Bond
This is my
movie.
favorite James Bond movie. So I'll give it a little background because I'm sure everybody listening cares. But so we grew up in the same era, kind of.
Yeah.
And those James Bond movies were all on TV.
Yeah.
I'll say ABC.
ABC Sunday Night Movie.
yeah.
That's how I saw
And
most
my
of them.
dad- This is exactly how we grew up. We recorded all of them
Me too.
on VHS cassette tapes.
Me too.
And we would watch them over and over and over. And my dad liked James Bond, so I've watched all those movies 8,000 times.
Yeah.
Now, what's interesting, of course, is what I saw was the ABC movie of the week or whatever cut. So there are things that when
Cut
I
out.
saw it in its entirety,
Yeah.
uncut later, I'm like, oh, there's a whole scene with another different underwater submarine. Like,
Yeah.
they weren't huge. They didn't take out anything important, obviously, but
Well, they cut things for time.
yeah,
I
it
mean,
was
these-
mostly
these-
cut for time.
Well, it's
little
interesting.
things.
Yeah, these movies are all PG, but they would still cut sort of sexy stuff.
Yeah.
Like sort of like
Yeah, no death,
sex.
though.
Yeah, they would cut like because I remember when I saw Thunderball on like a professional videotape.
Uh-huh.
I was like, whoa! I
Yeah.
didn't see any. And again, none of it is stuff you could air that on TV to this day.
Yeah.
But
But yeah, so I watched this 1,000,000 times on a VHS cassette.
yeah,
So that's how come I've seen it 6,000 times. And at the time, having seen all those ones all up to the early 80s, it was still my favorite then. And I think, I'm sure we'll go into all this, like, and I loved it. I even love the ridiculous ones. I love Die Another Day. I love all of them. They're
Yeah.
like ridiculous. They're so crazy and I love them.
right.
I think it was even then it was like the stunts were just so wild. I love
Yeah.
the underwater scenes a lot. I love the rock climbing a lot. Like it's all practical effects. This movie is nuts. It's
Yeah.
insane all the stuff they
This
do.
era,
It's incredible.
I've talked about in other episodes, from the 80s that we've done in this season. I've spotlighted, stunts from a lot of these movies. And I think this is John Glenn's first movie. He directs more than any other director. He does 5 in a row,
Mhm.
everyone in the 80s. The Guy Hamilton did 4, Terrence Young did 3, Sam Mendes did 2. It's
Yeah.
Martin Campbell did 2. It's very rare for any director to do more than 1 now.
Yeah.
We're just not seeing that.
Yeah.
I mean, Sam Mendes doing 2. I'm willing to bet is the last time we'll see a director come back for
Yeah.
a litany of reasons.
Yeah,
That has
yeah.
more to do with like the state of Hollywood right now than
Yeah.
it has anything to do with Bond specifically. But yeah, I think what I love about this entire era, so this movie, Octopussy, View to a Kill, Living Daylights, and License to Kill is, and I've talked about this in other episodes, I'll be brief here, is not just that it's tactile stunts with real crazy stuntman
Super.
doing it.
Yeah.
The stunts themselves are just so inventive. Like just describing the stunts, it's just like, oh my God, that's crazy. And I think that is where, that's where a lot of movies are falling down now. Is just like, yeah, CG and all that other stuff, but it's also like what's happening isn't interesting, even if someone's doing it for real.
Well, and knowing how to shoot a stunt is me. I don't know if it's a lost art, maybe it's, but I mean, because I rewatched this again, of course.
Yeah.
The rock climbing thing, it's not just the stunt is nuts.
Yeah.
It's directed so well.
We'll get there.
The mix of long and it's
Yeah.
freaking
We're gonna get
perfect.
there. So wait, I want to spend one more minute on this priest.
Yeah, sorry. Okay, Priest completely is
So
in
you
on
think
it.
the priest is working for Spectre?
1,000,000%.
Okay.
I mean, I wouldn't say he's like a Spectre agent. They paid him off. Not even a doubt.
Okay. Because I might say, okay, I love that.
No,
That's
he's making the cross because he knows that's a condemned man.
so why is he
just
making the
got
cross if he takes the money to because Bond
He's
doesn't
still a priest. He still cares about people's souls.
Because Bond does think that that's odd, but he's
Yes.
not suspicious of the helicopter pilot. Like he's not like
No.
looking around.
No,
I
he's like,
think
huh.
I think like, all right.
That's
I mean,
our first clue that something's off. 100%.
okay.
That priest took
I never
money.
had that take on
Yeah.
it. It's funny, but I mean, if
Yep.
I'd seen this movie for the first time at 47 and not
Yeah.
7,
Yeah.
I might have had different brains.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's talk about this cold open. So the sort of factory that they're flying over
Mhm.
is the Becton Gas Works, which is in North London,
Mhm.
and that is where Kubrick shot Full Metal Jacket. That is what he turned
Oh, interesting.
Vietnam. He turned Becton into Hue.
Huh. Wow.
And that is
That's wild.
yeah, pretty cool. And I believe they may have shot some of the 89 Batman there because Anton Furst, who was the production designer for Full Metal Jacket, won an Oscar
Yeah, I
for
can
Batman.
kind of see that.
Yeah, because I know they shot that. I may be fuzzy on that last
Yeah.
part, but that is definitely the Becton Gas Works, which is already abandoned at that point.
Right.
I think it was a big thing in World War II. And so the first time you see it on screen is when the helicopter's flying over it. And so yeah, this opening's really cool. This opening, it's not as I think this opening kind of straddles the line. I'm gonna say the opening until Bond scoops Blofeld up and
Yeah.
gets get to the helicopter. So I'm gonna talk about it up until that point because I do think this opening's really taut. I love how there's no music in it,
Yeah.
which I think in the older Bond movies, regardless of who the composer is, they were more dry. You
Mhm.
would have action scenes playing to
Yeah.
silence.
Yeah.
something you just don't see anymore. Ironically, the music isn't as good now, but there's more of it.
Yeah.
And it's not good because the composers aren't good. It's just because,
Yeah.
I've gone on that rant before, so I'll spare my devotees that. But yeah, I think this is like a really cool opening, and I think it straddles that line between like it's taut, but it's still very Bond.
Yeah.
It's still like this dude with like remote controls. It's still like kind of fantastic.
Yeah.
But it's not so fantastic that it's like, because you could see a smart helicopter. You could
Yeah.
see this helicopter being controlled. It's
Yeah.
not, I don't know how that would have played in 81.
Yeah.
I mean, I was alive, but I was 3.
Yeah.
Because apparently the impetus was John Glenn was like walking around the studio, and his kid was playing with like a remote control
Oh, interesting.
car or helicopter.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, that's a great idea. Let's have.
Yeah,
I mean, the
clever.
ideas for these movies came from fucking everywhere.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what I really love about it. It was so collaborative, and maybe it still is. But yeah, I think it's just so taut because again, there's no music, and yeah, there's some rear projection. I don't really ding it on that, but it's like really great stunt work. I mean, it's
Yeah.
really a dude hanging off the skid.
Oh, you watch some of the swoops that Chopper
Oh my God.
makes, and you're like, there's an actual guy. Granted, it's obviously not Roger, but there's a
Yeah.
guy there. Like, holy crap, that stuntman must have been bananas.
These stunt guys, particularly in the 80s, the 70s and 80s, we're
was
going to
the fall
talk.
guy.
Yeah. What's that?
He was the fall guy.
These stuntmen were just like these British dudes who were just like hanging off trains, hanging off helicopters.
Nuts.
I mean,
that stunt is nuts.
it's so, but there's that one shot where the I'm going to call him Blofeld because he is.
Yeah.
'Cause they can't sue me.
Yeah.
Where the helicopter goes past him and then does that tight turn and
Yes.
flies over him.
That's exactly what I was thinking. That
Yeah.
swoops on, and the guy's still hanging on. I'm like,
so
"Shit."
dangerous because helicopters
Shit.
we know tragically are so dangerous and so can't be controlled. I would imagine the guy in the chair was just a mannequin or something.
Yeah.
I would hope so, because that would have to be a stuntman too. But I love that Bond figures out and he gets control of the helicopter.
Yeah,
and
very
then we hear
clever.
the theme,
Yep.
and then the helicopter comes up. This scene is great.
Another great shot.
Yeah, and and then he scoops him up. I'm even okay with that. Might be a little ableist, I don't know, but it's
Yeah.
Blofeld, so I'm okay.
Yeah.
It just gets a little stupid with the line we talked about earlier with like we can make a deal, and
Yeah.
we talked about that stainless steel line. It's like
Also, was there ever an implication before that Blofeld had to be in a wheelchair?
so
Or
the
is
last
he
time,
was always sitting down, but
so the last time we saw Blofeld was in Diamonds Are Forever 10 years earlier. Blofeld
remember.
is blown up,
uh-huh.
but we don't see him die definitively. But
Oh,
in
yeah.
that movie, remember there are multiple Blofelds.
Yeah.
because he's cloning himself.
Oh, yeah.
So it could also be the Blofeld from Her Majesty's Secret Service who's in like a neck brace,
Mhm.
but he wasn't like in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
'cause he gets so-
Just
no. It's
idly
an
curious. I hadn't
interesting
thought
thing
about
because Blofeld's never in a wheelchair.
No.
When we see him again,
it. Yeah.
30 years later, as
No,
Christoph
makes a
Waltz.
good excuse because we're used to seeing him sitting down with
Right.
the cat, the whole shtick, and that lets him sit down with the cat, the whole shtick. but
Right.
Still.
Yeah, him being in a wheelchair doesn't really make sense, even if
Yeah.
you're following canon.
Yeah.
He would
Oh,
have maybe a
mm.
neck brace on. No, it's a good question.
Yeah.
I don't know why he's in a wheelchair. I guess you could say that the Blofeld from Diamonds
It's for the
survived that explosion,
Yeah.
maybe became paralyzed.
it's for the bit. We'll just
It's for
say
the
it's
bit.
for the bit.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's as I alluded to in in my stats, it's a big fuck you to Kevin McClory.
Yeah.
It's we don't need because they were going to make Blofeld the bad guy in The Spy Who Loved Me, and then Kevin McClory fired up his lawsuit again, and that's
Mm.
why it became because Stromberg is basically Blofeld.
Yeah.
But I think a movie works better at not being Blofeld.
Yeah, 100%.
Because Roger Moore never goes up against Blofeld
Nope.
unless you count this.
Yep.
And the only Bond actors to go up against Blofeld until Daniel Craig are Connery and Lazenby.
Yeah.
You
And it
don't
makes you don't want Drax to be Blofeld either.
no,
It's fine if they're
it's
different
fine.
guys.
It's
Yeah.
fine. I mean, I think, and we can talk about Blofeld and his legacy maybe later
Yeah.
on. So yeah, I think this is a really great cold open. I think it's a little bit of a shame. I think, and I'm going to say this a lot. I think this is a really great Bond movie. I think that it's a little bit at war with its sense of humor.
100%.
And I think
100%.
I think John Glenn is such a fantastic director, but in all 5 of his movies, the humor can sometimes get in the way, and in the best of them, he has like a real stranglehold on that. I feel
Yeah.
that in the 2 Daltons, particularly in The Living Daylights, which is my favorite of the 5, the humor is not non-existent, but it's like really he has
Yeah.
like and you see there are things cut out of The Living Daylights that were like buffoonish.
Yeah.
And I wish he had done that here, which is weird because he's an editor.
Yeah.
He cut On Her Majesty's Secret Service and The Spy Who Loved Me, which are 2 of the best Bond
Yeah.
movies ever. and he's made some of the best Bond movies ever. So I think the knock on John Glenn, to people who even follow who directed what movie, is that he goes too far with the humor, and we're gonna get this a couple points in this movie. I've alluded to a couple of them already. So yeah, the cold open's great.
Yeah.
And I think if you just took out Blofeld's
Weird deli stick.
yeah, or even just changed
Yeah.
his dialogue, because you could have just looped it. It was looped anyway.
Yeah.
So but it's on balance a really good cold
Yeah.
open.
Okay, so now here's a question.
Okay.
There are 4 absolute stone cold motherfucking killings in this movie.
Yes.
Like colder than almost any other Bond killing.
We're gonna
in
get
the
to 'em.
series.
Yeah.
So we starting with this. I consider there to be 4.
Is this
We
number
start with
one?
This is number 1.
Okay, I think this is a good killing.
Do you want to talk about all 4 now?
Let's
or
do
talk
them as
about
we
that?
get to 'em.
Okay.
No, but
this
that's
is
a good
number
preview.
1. Stone fucking cold.
It's cool.
Dumping down a thing.
That's great. It's a great stunt.
No mercy, no
and-
nothing.
Yeah,
Boom.
and the helicopter really does it. It's great pilot work.
Yeah.
I just would love to. It's funny. I'm very against AI and changing old movies, but I think just as an exercise.
Yeah.
And you probably wouldn't even need AI to do it. Just do this entire sequence and just either take out what Blofeld says or change it with something
Yeah,
else.
easy.
I mean, he's moving his arms. He would be saying something. Even having him just
It
screaming.
would be. It's cold as hell. It'd be even colder if Blofeld said nothing and Bond just choppered up and dumped him down.
Yeah,
You're
just
like,
cut around. All right, keep your hair on.
"Motherfucker."
Yeah. So
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
then we get into the opening credits, these are special opening credits. I was gonna ask it this way: what do you think about Sheena Easton being in the opening credits of this movie?
I didn't clock it at the time as being unusual because I'd seen whatever they were, but
Right.
you can. There's always a sexy woman in the credits, so.
But her
Right.
singing.
I don't know. It's Sheena Easton, man. What you can
Well,
complain about
here
Sheena
was the
Easton for?
impetus for it.
This is right before she started working with Prince. She was getting hit there.
Yeah. So
She's doing good.
this is Maurice Binder.
Mm-hmm.
Binder or Bender? Okay. So he not only did the titles for most of the early movies, he created the gun barrel.
Oh.
So, yeah. So Maurice Binder was a fucking genius.
Which I only recently found out in the first couple wasn't even the actor playing Bond.
Bob Simmons
who's in
the
this
first
movie.
Well, he's just
Yeah.
you see him
Yeah.
you see him in this movie. Yeah,
Yeah.
Good call. Bob Simmons is in the gun barrel for the first 3 Bond movies.
Yeah.
And then when they moved to Anamorphic, it's Connery.
Yeah.
And then it's every guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So so Maurice Bender obviously is a genius. He did the titles for 14 of the first 16. He did not do From Russia with Love and Goldfinger. That was done by a guy named Robert Brownjohn. That's why it's projected on like women's bodies. It's a different style. But he did Dr. No, and he did, it's incredible. His credits outside Bond are impressive, but Bond's what he's known for.
Yeah.
And he even created the logo of the 007 and the 7
That's
being
cool.
a gun.
Yeah, that's cool.
So genius. So at this time, MTV is just starting and music videos are just starting. So his thing was, let's make it like a music video with her in it.
Yeah.
Which is sound logically, it is being current. I just find it a little cheesy in the wrong way. The opening titles, the thing about Maurice Binder is he was very improvisational and he would wait to the last second to hand these titles in. So he could not be censored. And when you watch this in HD, there is full on nudity. I mean, you were seeing nipples and breasts, and I mean, there's
What did they do when they broadcast that? Because they play the whole song in the broadcast.
but you don't see
now
it.
I'm thinking,
An old analog TVs and like small screens
Certainly
and like
could
full
have made that
screen.
on my VHS resolution. I can tell.
That's what I'm saying. It wasn't until I saw these on like DVD and Blu-ray, and this one's not out on 4K yet. But I watched this on Blu-ray, and you really see it.
Wow,
particularly
that's wild.
these 80s ones, because they're like, in some of the later ones, they're not even silhouetted. It's like just ripples of water. So I wrote down MTV or a bad cocaine idea. I don't know.
Whatever. It was
Didn't bother
fine.
you.
It's not,
Okay.
It's not horrible. It's Sheena Easton.
I also Sheena Easton's cool, and this song's good. I mean, it's very of its time. It's like adult contemporary,
100%.
and it's fine. It's
fine.
I think it's
It's not one I'm singing in the shower, but that's okay. It doesn't
Yeah.
have to be. But that said, Oscar nominated. So
Oscar nominated. Yeah.
what was it up against? Out of curiosity.
Well, I know Arthur beat it.
Oh well,
which,
obviously.
Yeah. And it's funny. I forgot. I talked a lot about it in our Great Muppet Caper episode. One of the songs from that, the first time it happened, is nominated. I talked about in that episode, which I know you haven't heard yet because it actually just came out last Wednesday that we're recording this. I would have nominated 3 or 4 songs from Muppet Caper.
Yes.
Kept Arthur, This maybe could stay or
Yeah.
go. I'm a huge Bond song fan. They're better ones. This is par.
Yeah.
This is a little maybe a little above par.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
good. It's par. Yeah, I like that. I dig
It's
that.
it's
Okay.
it's like what was going on. It's adult contemporary.
Yeah.
This and the next one are I kind of lumped them together, and then when A View to a Kill, which is my favorite one of all time, that's
Yeah.
just such a breath of fresh air.
This is Parr, but this is not John Parr, who will appear on our countdown later.
So when I wrote down in my notes, "Holy shit!" with the nudity in HD, I just thought that was
Yeah.
funny when I wrote-
And keep in mind, you were originally watching this on a huge screen in a theater, brought from a film negative, so
Right.
there was no resolution change. You were just watching it. You
Right.
saw everything you were in the
Yeah.
theater.
So we get to this opening with this ship, and now we're back in that serious tone. Which is like it's like this fishing boat ship. It's a little bit of
Mhm.
spy stuff, but again, it's all
Mhm.
really plausible, and it reminds me. This movie at its best reminds me of The Spy Who Loved Me, and they were supposed to follow Spy Who Loved Me. They're
Yeah.
like, it really does feel that way because that opens with like in that case it's a submarine. You're seeing like these like British sailors
Yeah.
working.
Horrific deaths, by the way. Those
Yeah.
guys die horrifically.
Yeah, this is really intense.
Yeah.
I mean these guys drowned. and-
Drowned, chained to a thing.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Yeah, it's
Oof.
thinking about it now. I mean, I guess they were under. I guess they couldn't have survived. I guess the guys above deck survived.
Yeah, they all jumped
Unless
into
they got
fish
killed
and-
in the explosion.
Yeah,
I'm thinking
nah.
about that now. I guess maybe they must have all died.
No, they just abandoned. Yeah, every
Everyone
every
inside
member
died.
of that British Navy died, and not only that, because the whole shtick is they can't mount a salvage operation because it's off the Albanian coast and it's the Cold War.
Right.
That means those British sailors and intelligence operatives are still in that boat to this day. Their bodies were never recovered.
Oh, that's interesting.
Lost at sea, buried without bodies.
Yeah,
Every one of those guys.
yeah, that's chilling. Another thing that reminds me of The Spy Who Loved Me is how we're going from MI6 to Moscow to Gogol, probably
Yeah.
in the same shot. And I love what he says, which I think is this movie has a really good MacGuffin, the ATAC.
Yeah.
It's like the Lecter and previous Bond movies.
yep,
It's a classic MacGuffin. I mean, you could kind of like be a wise and say, "Oh, this looks like a fucking word processor or
Yeah.
something," but it's a really simple thing. It's like this thing, could make our if the Russians got their hands
Yep.
on it or any enemy, they can order our
It's
submarines to attack our own
The
cities.
nuclear football.
Yeah.
It's essentially the nuclear
It's very,
football. on
very
American
simple.
things.
And I
Yeah.
love this scene with Golgo where he says, like, yeah, we're not going to look for it, but if someone tries to sell it to us, we're buying it.
Yeah.
I love how cold,
Yeah.
intentionally,
Yeah.
the Cold War is here.
Yeah.
That the Russians are like, because he's not against the Russians here, but the Russians are involved.
Yes.
Because he is, we'll find out like halfway through that Gogol's the buyer.
Yeah. And look, that's what the Cold War was.
Yeah.
It was proxies fighting proxies.
Yeah,
And the whole
mercenaries,
thing.
the whole thing.
Yep, the
And I
whole
love that we're in
shtick.
this world. So you alluded to this earlier. So then we meet Melina, and this is a really, really great intro.
So good.
She's a really interesting character. I think Carol Bouquet is really interesting in this movie. And
Mhm.
again, there's so many. Every time a Bond movie comes out to this day, you hear the women in the movie, which isn't to say that it's never true, say, I'm not the typical Bond girl. Like typically the Bond,
Yeah.
and that's true sometimes, sometimes it isn't.
Yeah.
This I feel like is one of those times where I don't know if this woman said that. She isn't the typical Bond girl.
Yeah.
We talked about it before, like there's no physical relationship with him.
Yep.
And we're seeing her parents get killed. This is Fleming as shit.
Yeah.
And it's such a tough scene.
Heart. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we're meeting her. Obviously, she's really beautiful.
Yeah.
And like, you see how close she is to her parents.
Yeah.
And then that scene, where the airplane's coming closer, and then the dad is just like, uh-oh. Just that moment of like,
Yeah.
wait, what's this guy doing? And then
Yeah.
he kills them. It's
Yeah.
just, it's so horrifying.
It's nuts. She bends over the bodies, looks up, tucks her hair behind.
Yeah.
And that's like that iconic scene in comic books where Wolverine is down in
Yeah.
the sewers looking up with this.
Yeah. Zooms in on her eyes.
Yeah, it's nuts. And also, by the way, of course, the first time you see her, you're like, she is unholy beautiful.
Yeah.
You're like, good Lord. Like,
Yeah.
But that's not what you're thinking about at the time. She's stunning, and you're stunned by what just happened.
Yeah.
It's such a well done scene.
Yeah, it's a really great intro.
And she nails it.
Yeah. It's a really great intro. Well,
I'm assuming she was not primarily an actress before this.
No,
but
I believe she
nails
was.
that.
I believe she was a model, and she became after this movie like the spokesperson for I want to say L'Oreal or something like that. She's-
Chanel, I think, very
Is it
famous.
Chanel?
And she
Chanel.
was married, and I don't remember why I know this. She was married to the scientist who discovered HIV.
What?
Yeah, she was married to this like super famous immunologist.
Probably around this time then. Well, no.
Well,
Were they married
HIV
at the
was
time?
this was the very beginning of AIDS. I think it was probably a few years later
Okay.
because this was just the start when people didn't want to talk about it.
Right.
It's like
Because
that.
I say AIDS
But
is just starting at this
Yeah, no,
point.
she was married to the immunologist who discovered HIV, or that HIV causes AIDS, at least is what.
Oh,
it was.
interesting.
Yeah.
So here's something I didn't know, and I found out in a really weird way. This stunned me. So on the DVD, I didn't rewatch this. So there's a bunch of deleted scenes.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, I gotta get that.
Yeah.
Watch it.
Yeah. There's a scene that's actually really. I'll just go to it now. There's a scene that's really interesting. We'll jump around a tiny bit. So you know how she's at the casino?
Yeah.
When he goes home with the countess?
Yes, and she kind of looks
and it's
up and
never
yeah.
called back to. So there's a scene when he links back up with her where she kind of calls him out, even though they're not together romantically. And the scene, I don't think made it very far into the cut because her voice sounds different because she was looped this entire movie.
What?
She does not sound like
The
that.
whole movie?
The whole movie. This is what they used to do in the 60s. They looped Ursula Andress and Claudine Auger and even Shirley Eaton, who's
Holy
English.
crap.
I didn't know they were doing this past like 1969 or 73.
Wow.
Yeah. So she's looped the whole movie.
That's nuts. I had no idea.
They did a
do
great
a
job.
really good job.
They do an incredible
My
job.
Gosh.
But if you know it,
only
you can,
her?
only her, to my knowledge.
So weird. I wonder why.
Her accent's not bad. Her English is good. I mean,
No.
her voice is a little deeper.
And it's still her. They're looping her, Carol Bouquet's voice back in. It's not
No,
another actress.
Another actress is looping her.
What?
I don't know who the actress is.
What?
Because if you watch this deleted scene,
I thought you just meant they were putting her voice back in. They recorded her in a studio.
No. Another.
Totally
Sorry, what I
different
meant to
human?
say was another actress. She's overdubbed. I used
Did
the wrong
not know that.
word. I was stunned.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Isn't she Brit or is she
She's
French?
French.
She's French. Okay.
But that's nothing to do with it. She's playing Greek, but they don't.
No.
they don't give a
But you
shit
could
about
say
that.
like her accent speaking.
No.
Didn't sound too French.
Her English is perfectly good. I think her voice is a little deeper. They used to do this. So Claudine Auger, who's
How
in Thunderball,
weird must it be to see yourself in a movie where you never hear your own voice?
and they probably didn't tell her until the premiere.
That's what I'm saying.
They
like,
probably did not
that's
tell her.
Wild.
They probably were like at Leicester Square, like, oh, by the way, we looped you. You know, like.
Wow. It's like Singing in the Rain when they loop
Yeah.
the main blind characters thing with
I was stunned to learn that
Debbie
this was a
Reynolds.
thing in 1981 because I really would have thought once you get to the 70s that there were enough actresses who were beautiful. Because clearly she speaks English. I mean, yeah, I was
crazy. I wonder what her real voice sounds like. I have no idea now.
It's a little deeper.
Huh.
If you look at this deleted scene,
I gotta get that. I gotta watch that.
But it's not like it's unattractive. It's
Yeah.
just like
How odd.
yeah, they just didn't because this scene because it wasn't in the movie, they didn't finish it, so they didn't loop it. They probably cut it out early. They're like, oh no,
They said something to the studio, and some guy in the studio's like, I don't like the voice. Get it to someone else.
But internally, they did this all the time. Like Ursula Andress is looped. The very
Wow.
first movie.
Huh.
I think and Shirley Eaton from Goldfinger, who was English, so it's not even about
So
an accent. They
weird.
just Goldfinger himself is looped very infamously because his English was so
Yeah.
bad you couldn't
Huh.
understand him.
So
So
weird.
Goldfinger, yeah. But she's great in this. It's a great intro, and it really grounds this movie because it's like, oh, here's this woman. We've seen her parents get killed.
Yep.
It's just her mission's so clear.
Yep.
And it's so, and she's this sort of this thing that's in not in Bond's way, but she's just like unpredictable things she has to deal with, and the motivation's just so clear. It's just
Yep.
and again, up to this point, except for Tracy getting killed, we really hadn't seen. So is this number 2 in your Stone Cold kills? The parents, or are you talking about Bond
No,
kills?
it's not even.
You're talking about the 4 people that Bond kill.
No. Two of my Stone Cold kills in this movie. 2 are Bonds, 2 are Locks.
Okay.
Emil Leopold Locks.
I would say this has to be on that list then, because we're seeing her parents get murdered.
It is. I guess.
Gonzalez. We got to give Gonzalez
But like,
his
it's
due.
I don't know. Yeah, but yes, 100%. Horrific.
Okay.
He flies it, and he's smiling while
Yeah.
he does it.
Yeah. And again, this is a villain, and I think this is true of all the villains in this movie. We're going to get to Locke soon. I think the villains in this movie are so great
All of them
because
are good.
they're real people. None of them have layers. None of them have eye patches. None of them have metal teeth.
Nope.
All things I love.
Yep.
We were talking to
Yep.
the biggest Bond fan ever.
Yep.
And you're certainly on that
Yep.
list as well. And they're just. This is what I loved about Quantum of Solace is that the villains were just fucking nasty.
Same thing. People don't like it. I dig that movie. I like it more than most of the Craig ones.
I think that Quantum of Solace is kind of a good bedfellow
Yeah.
with For Your Eyes Only because
Very grounded.
Camille is a lot
Yeah.
like Melina, except that Camille is a Secret Service
Yeah, yeah,
agent,
yeah.
so she has more formal training.
Yeah.
But she, her family gets murdered. We don't see
Yeah.
it happen.
Yeah.
I remember when I saw that movie, I was like, oh, this is like Melina. It's cool.
Yeah.
She obviously, again, has more formal training.
Yeah.
She can, she's like him. She's
Yeah.
trained, I think she's Bolivian Secret Service or something in
Yeah.
that movie.
But one thing that's actually cool, speaking, since we're talking about Melina anyway, what you get the impression of through the whole movie about her is she was raised, those parents raised her in a really interesting way. Look,
Yeah.
I'm an anthropologist. He was an archaeologist.
Yeah.
So like that lifestyle where you are raising your kid. She even says like, my home was a boat all around
Strana.
the world.
Yeah.
I mean, her number one thought when I need to kill someone is crossbow. Like
Yeah.
that kid had an interesting upbringing.
Yeah.
And you see that.
You
Like,
could
that's
make,
cool.
yeah, I mean, I want to avoid this impulse, but you could make a movie just about her.
Prequel Melina Havelock show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, maybe Amazon's gonna make that fucking show, but
Yeah.
really, really interesting character, and for a series that's rightly accused of misogyny and all
Yeah.
kinds of stuff, particularly in the Moore era. Moore and Connery is where it's really bad.
Mhm.
Once you get to Dalton, it's pretty much done, and then Brosnan has Judi Dench as his boss. and
Yeah,
it's-
yeah,
You really have to
But
squint.
yeah.
You really have to squint to see
Yeah.
it then.
But no, she doesn't show up in slinky outfits, even when they're showing how beautiful she's not.
She's
shown that way.
never in
Nope.
a bikini.
Nope.
She's never in anything sexy.
Nope.
She's never. Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, I
she's-
remember how much I dug that crossbow when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Too. Cool as hell.
So there's no M in this movie, which we already went into.
Mhm.
I love so it's interesting. So the character is Tanner, who's sitting in for M, and Tanner is in the Brosnan and the Craigs,
Mhm.
but his role is like M's, almost
Chief
like
of
M's
staff.
assistant,
They
or
say
his
chief
chief
of
of
staff.
staff. So I guess he'd be. I
It's the
guess that makes
stand-in.
sense. I guess
it's the
if
Minister
M-
of Defense and the Chief of Staff. Yeah.
Yeah,
Makes
so
sense.
I guess it would be Tanner, but it's interesting. So we see this character in Goldeneye and The World's Not Enough,
Mhm.
and then we see him in Quantum through No Time to Die.
Yeah, yeah.
Actually, no, yeah, we see him we see him a lot later on. We just never see him in that. But I love when Tanner says, when he gives him the mission, he says, find Gonzalez and apply the necessary pressure.
Yeah.
I love that. That is such a British thing.
Yes.
Because like he's basically some of the movies. I think it's The Living Daylights where M says a termination warrant has been issued
Mm-hmm.
for Pushkin,
Uh-huh.
which is literally like a death warrant.
Yeah.
And I feel like in that file, I don't know if it's like a piece of paper,
Mhm.
but I just love that. Like, I just love when he's handed a file. It
Yeah.
happens in the next movie. Doesn't happen enough.
Yeah.
I just love, and
Yeah.
Skyfall ends that way.
Yep.
I just love that he's handed a fucking file.
Yep.
And like inside is like,
By the way, it also shows later when he comes back and he hands a file back to Tanner. Tanner's like, well, James is
Oh,
like, well, if you look at my report.
report, I
He's
know.
like, look at, but not just look at my report. He says, look at my report, page 2, paragraph 4. I'm like, and what that shows is, again, James Bond is a freaking professional.
Yeah.
He's not just out there killing
detective.
folk. Exactly. He knows how to file the right paperwork. He knows that's important. He knows the clues are sometimes found for if they send out a different agent next time, that guy's going to need to know everything. Like,
yeah. This is the first Bond movie that Peter Lamont is the production designer on.
Mhm.
He gets bumped up. He's in the art department the whole time,
Mhm.
and he's told by Cubby Broccoli, "You're not going to get the budget that Ken Adam had. You're not going to have like a volcano set on this because I want
Yeah.
Bond.
Yeah.
I want Bond to be doing the detecting.
Yeah.
I want him to figure everything out, and we really see that here. I want to talk about something in this movie that I really don't think works.
Mm-hmm.
For the most part, I'm going to call out the places where it does work. I
Uh-huh.
don't like the score to this movie.
Huh.
I think Bill Conti's great.
Yeah.
I think he's done some great work. He's won
Mm-hmm.
an Oscar, and I don't think on paper this is a bad choice. But so the next scene, he goes to Spain.
Mm-hmm.
I think the instinct is right to have the Spanish guitars and
Similar,
stuff because
yeah,
that's
yeah.
what John Barry did so well.
Yeah.
And David Arnold after
Yeah.
did is that like you go to a country, I'm going to use the instrumentation of this country.
Yeah.
You're going to hear, Indian music,
Yeah, yeah.
Istanbul, and
Yeah,
all that
I
stuff.
get it.
So, I just think it's too light.
Yeah.
The music in Spain, and I think that there's so many places where the score to this movie falls down. There are a few places where it does work, and I'm going to call those out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want Bill Conti to feel like I'm sure he's listening,
Yeah.
but I feel like with a John Barry or Michael Kamen or David Arnold would have been too young, this movie would just elevate.
I think they were trying. It's one of the plays they were trying to leaven it, and make it a little more light. In that, as we've talked about, that
Yeah.
weird dynamic. I think.
Yeah, so I'm a real snob about Bond music,
Yeah.
and I think this is a really great Bond movie, but I really think the score does it a disservice, and I'll get to more why.
Yeah.
In the music, so when he's escaping from the French villa, the
Uh-huh.
music there is so bad.
Yeah.
It's like
From the French villa.
sorry, in Spain. I'm
Oh
sorry.
yeah,
in
when
Spain,
they're driving
by
in
the
the car
pool.
scene.
but
by the-
before
yeah.
that,
Oh,
before
yeah.
that, when he's running to the car, because I love again that Melina kills Gonzalez. That's a great.
Great,
Great
well
moment.
done. Like the guy's diving, you don't even see
Yeah,
the.
it's so well staged,
freaking
and
good.
we don't know she's there.
Scream,
Maybe,
yeah.
maybe we've forgotten about
Yeah,
her. You
yeah.
can be forgiven for forgetting about her.
Yeah,
I like Bond, like punching his way out of
Yep.
it. He uses
Yep.
the umbrella. It's like it's all like really well done.
yep.
Um,
Bond, by the way, gets captured like 3-4 times in this movie.
yeah, he does. That was the thing where like he get knocked on the head, wake up someplace.
Yeah,
They throw him some clothes that fit perfectly and
Yeah.
looks great in,
Mhm.
and then it's like that was definitely a thing where like this is Bond and other movies too of this era made me think if you get hit on the head, it's really not a big deal.
yeah,
You just sleep for a while.
yeah.
And this is not.
Yeah.
Indiana Jones gets
And
knocked out.
like the villains aren't. We're not here to be evil. This is a game. It's the Cold War. It's a great game.
Right.
We don't need to kill each other. It's just about
Um,
maneuvering.
So you mentioned Bob Simmons. Bob Simmons' cameo in this is the guy who's trying to break into Bond's Lotus, and then
Yeah.
it blows up.
Yes.
Which is a fantastic moment.
Great scene because you're like, oh, Bond has the cool cars. Car
And
blows
again,
up in the first 10 minutes.
It's a good virtue signal because you don't get a big scene with because Roger Moore never drove an Aston Martin. He drove a Lotus.
Yeah.
Which is actually my favorite car in the whole franchise is the Lotus from The Spy Who Loved Me. So really great introduction to Melina where she saves his life.
Yeah. It's
And
completely.
then the hair comes down.
Yep.
And you just
Again,
know this
like,
character's a
dude.
badass.
Yeah. You're like,
she's so
dude.
formidable.
Yeah.
There's-
Bond couldn't do what she just did.
Yeah,
That's
like she
literally what they're
saved-
showing.
Yeah,
She gets
I mean,
captured.
Yeah. And yeah, she's smarter than him in this, or at least has
Yeah.
the upper hand.
Yeah.
She's tracked Gonzalez the same way that he did.
Yep.
He knows who she is because he says, like, oh, Melina identified Gonzalez
Yeah.
to the Greek police or
Yeah.
wherever they were. So it's this car chase, which is really fun. And one thing I love in this car chase, I mean, a lot of stuff I love,
It's good.
but there's this line, there's this moment that I love, and I think it was natural. They're going down this hill, and it's like really bumpy, and Bond goes, "Love a ride in the country, don't you?"
Yeah.
But she laughs.
Yes.
And that's my favorite part. The line is like,
Yeah.
could be a groaner. It's like a
Yeah.
typical Roger Moore
Uh-huh.
line. But the fact that she laughs,
And they're
I-
bouncing around. Yeah.
I feel like was natural,
Yes.
and they kept it in.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's such a great thing because I don't know this for a fact, but I don't know that Melina would have laughed at that. But
Yeah.
I love the idea that Melina sparks to Bond in
Yeah.
this way,
yeah.
even though she's like this deadly, serious,
Yeah.
almost humorless character.
Yeah.
I mean, it's justified that she's humorless.
Yeah.
But I always love that, and I
Yeah.
think it was probably something that just happened.
Well, absolutely. It looks like they just caught it in the take. They're like leaving it in.
and they were smart enough to like leave that in because
Yeah.
this part of the movie is fun.
Yeah.
And let's have fun with it.
Yep.
So I think that this is a fun chase because it's like Bond in a shitty car.
Yeah.
And it's again I don't like the music in this scene, but it's
Yeah.
a minor ding on a
Yeah.
fun.
By the way, in this scene, that whole Gonzalez thing, and later, I want to shout out to 2 henchmen in this movie that I just like, and they both recur. You see them in like multiple scenes. Neither of them ever speak. Completely different things.
I know who one is.
So one is one of what's his name? Gonzalez's guys. He's the tall black henchman,
Right.
And like you see him, he aims. He's in one of the cars. Like
Right.
he seems capable. He's da.
Yeah.
And the second one is one of Christados's men. He's the one with like the Jerry curls. I love that guy.
Oh, okay.
He's in a whole bunch of scenes.
Oh,
Again,
okay.
never speak. Both of these henchmen never
Oh.
speak, but they clearly are like
Yeah.
top rated. They're henching well.
They look tough.
They're
Yeah.
doing good. Like they're clearly professionals.
Yeah.
I dig both those random, completely unnamed henchmen.
I love that. If this was a Star Wars movie, they'd be named and we'd have the action figures.
Yeah, exactly. But here they're just
so-
random hench 3 and 5.
Yeah. There's a scene I love. It's really quick, and I think it's what I like about it is right after this, they're in this hotel room,
Mhm.
and he says, if you set out for revenge, you're gonna dig 2 graves. And she
graves.
says, like, I'm half Greek.
Yeah.
Like Electra, we always avenge our loved ones.
Yeah, great.
That scene is so great, and I think the music in that scene does work. And it's like a minute and a half. I
Mhm.
feel like it's so economical. And again, it's another great scene for this
Yeah.
character.
Yep.
He's saying something that again, particularly in a Roger Moore movie, he's just like, you're going out for revenge. It's not going to end well. And she's like, I'm doing this anyway.
Keeping in mind, by the way, 15 minutes earlier, he literally dumped a dude down a smokestack.
Well, yeah, Bond's a hypocrite. I didn't make that connection.
Yeah.
But you're right.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's also, it's hypocritical.
Yeah.
But the guy
no,
came at him.
Yeah, 100%. And also, I'm like, again, in some movies, you could see that would have been the first scene. They're waking up in bed together, packing up. That was clearly not the case.
Yeah.
He's like, nope.
Yeah.
Came here to kill a guy, killed a guy, time to go.
He doesn't even like flirt with her. It's interesting. I wonder what it is because with the jumping ahead a tiny bit.
Inappropriate, but yeah.
Well, his reaction to BB is this is a little girl, which I think is great. And when I revealed earlier that like she's only a year younger than Carol Bouquet, who looks not older, but looks a lot more mature.
Yeah, again, there's a maturity.
There's a maturity and obviously a gravitas to like her storyline.
Yeah, 100%.
But I'm wondering if, that was something that they decided like, okay, well, it's James Bond, but, because her parents are dead that like it would just feel so inappropriate.
Gross and
to flirt with her in any way.
Awful, yeah.
He's like such a gentleman. And I think this isn't my favorite of Roger Moore's seven movies, but I think this is his best performance in the role.
Yeah.
I think this is like, he's like the
He's a
most
spy.
mature. Yeah, it's like the most like a real person.
Yeah.
And there's like some again, this isn't my favorite of his is Spy Who Loved Me.
Yeah.
But I think just isolating his performance, which I don't do a lot. I don't really think about. I can tell you my favorite movie is of each actor's, but like the performance as Bond, I think it's his. I'm not saying nominate him for Oscar or anything, but I think it's like the most grounded, the most realistic.
Yeah.
I just think it's the most mature. I just like him a lot in this movie.
Yeah.
And you could see. I'm wondering if he read the script and was like, "Oh, I want to play."
Could be. That's why he came back.
Yeah, I mean, and also they probably paid him a lot of money.
Yeah.
But something I've talked about. Actually, this is the third 1981er where I guess I could sort of talk about briefly Thatcher's UK because Grey Muppet Caper we talked about last week. The week before we talked about An American Werewolf in London. Neither movie's political. This movie's not that political either. But they're acknowledging the Prime Minister. She'll have our guts for garters. They're acknowledging that the Prime Minister is a woman.
Yeah.
Which does not come up in the other movies.
Oh, interesting.
Was Thatcher the first female?
I believe so.
Yeah. I just love that because when I was a kid, I don't think I knew what PM meant.
Yeah.
I don't know. I knew there was a Queen of England. I think I thought the Queen and the PM were the same thing because I didn't understand how.
I mean, Thatcher was so big in just as an international figure as I was growing up. I'm a little bit older than you, so I was very cognizant of the times.
I've since learned about Thatcher, and unfortunately, we're going to see Thatcher later in this movie. We'll get there when we get there. But the identigraph scene, I love this scene. It's such great detective work.
Yeah, people don't like that for some reason, I think, but it's well done.
It's so well done. You can maybe roll your eyes at the tech, but the tech's not even that bad. I mean, it's very early 80s, like video shit.
Yeah, they clearly animate the thing. It's very clever.
But it's so cool. And the fact that Bond is describing Locke from fucking memory.
And again, it's very professional. You'd think like, intelligence agent in the field is going to be like, what's his hair color? What kind of thing? I'm going to need to remember this guy later.
Yeah. Yeah, because it reminded me. Well, it's funny because like in the fourth Mission Impossible movie, Ethan draws on his hand a picture of the dude, which is a great gag. But it's the same thing. It's like I'm an agent. I can look at someone once and know everything about them.
Yeah.
I mean, I can describe to a sketch artist, and this is like days later.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or it's at least 2 days later. He's got to get from Spain back to England.
Yeah.
And I just love that, like, and it takes a long time. It's like they do that time cut. He's got his jacket off.
Yeah.
Clearly, they've been there for hours.
Oh yeah, the woman comes in and gives him coffee later.
You can lock up Sharon. It's fine.
Yeah.
So I think it's a great Q thing because it starts with the Q scene with like the silly gadgets, them jibing at each other. The Roger Moore and Desmond Llewellyn. That's my favorite Bond Q relationship.
Yeah.
Because it's just the most.
Yeah.
It's the most like
fun.
it's the most just like I'm fucking with Q. I can't stand this dude. But I love that Q has this other function of I'm not just gonna give you a card and an exploding pen. It's like I have this thing.
Yeah.
And
We
that's a
help
thing-
detect. Yeah.
That's a thing that they could actually use. Like
Yeah.
what I love about Casino Royale, one of the many things is that like he has that kit in his car that has like the adrenaline shot and like
Yep.
the leads. I'm like, that's something that they would give an agent because
Yeah.
you're gonna get poisoned
Yeah.
and your fucking heart is gonna stop.
Yeah.
And the identigraph is like, yes,
Yeah.
that is something you would invent.
Yep.
That's something
100%.
that like there's probably a double O down there every other day. I gotta use the identigraph. And
Yep.
it's like a bit of process.
Yeah.
Cause like sometimes process in the Bond movies annoys me. Like there's a scene, probably more than one, but in the last one, in No Time to Die, he's walking through MI6. There's like people that like computers and running around and
Mhm.
stuff. And something about it, I don't know. I'm sure that happens, but like I don't want to see like The Office.
The Office.
It just seems like bullshit to me.
Yeah.
But the workshop where they're building stuff seems real.
Yeah.
And stuff like this.
Yeah.
It's such great detective work.
Yeah.
And again, the fact that he has it memorized is like, oh, this guy, because we hadn't seen Bond do anything like that.
No.
Like, anything that's like that smart. Like
Yeah.
that's like Sherlock shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you get that, like, yes, he'd be trained to do that.
Yeah.
He'd be trained to like look at a guy's face, and then a month later I could ask you and you could describe, and then the fact that it comes out so perfectly, you totally buy it.
And think again, like, how useful is that? You know somebody's picture, it's patched into all the files of blah, 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 blah,
And then
blah,
they
blah,
right
blah.
away,
Like, holy crap.
They get his name.
Yeah.
They get his
Yeah.
I'm gonna redeem myself with Bill Conti. The cue where they go to Cortina is beautiful. Like
Mhm.
that music when we see Cortina in the
Yeah, yeah.
snow, that is what this movie
mean,
should sound
Cortina.
like.
Yeah.
And it's a great, most of the Bond movies are pretty good about globetrotting.
Yeah.
Like showing us a lot of
Yeah.
different places. I think the ones that people kind of bag on feel claustrophobic.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand that, even if, like License to Kill gets dinged, and I think it's a great, great movie, but he doesn't leave North America.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
in Key West and he's in
Too much
Mexico.
Florida,
It's
yeah.
not Mexico for Mexico.
Yeah.
I get that part of it. It's a great,
Yeah.
great movie, but I
Yeah.
understand, we don't see him go to Asia or Europe or anything,
No.
like
This is international traveling Bond.
this
And
is-
of course, by the way, we just a couple months ago from when we're recording this were the Olympics in Cortina.
Exactly.
And I thought about this constantly.
Oh, yeah.
When they were every
big
time,
Olympics.
like,
yeah, big Olympics thing here.
Beautiful town. The whole
I
thing.
love, we're talking about Spycraft, the trick with the mirror where he turns the hot water on and there's a
Oh,
message on there.
Many times in my life have I written Tofana 10 a.m.
Have
on
you
a
really?
mirror. Yes, many, many times over the years.
Your mirror like in a hotel room.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Let the next guy wonder what the hell Tofana is unless
If
he's
I-
a real big James Bond fan.
If I'd seen that in a hotel
Yeah.
room, I would have laughed my ass
yeah,
off.
yeah.
I would
I
have.
do it. I won't say every time, but many. Still
Oh
to
my-
this day, at least once a year.
Oh my god! I would have
Tofana 10 a.m.
flipped out.
Yep.
I would have taken a picture. I would have sent it to you. And you probably would have, oh, I see it in the hotel room.
Oh, it was probably me. Yeah.
I also love just staying on that same theme with the very next scene, the code phrase where he meets Ferrara.
Yes.
Because the snow is better in Innsbruck, but not in San Moritz. Again, it's such a thing. We see that in
Bum 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 bum.
From
Yep.
Much with Love,
Mhm.
but it's just like code words.
Yep.
There's still be code
Tradecraft.
words.
Just tradecraft.
Yeah, it's
How
so
do you know
simple.
it's the right guy?
Yeah.
One thing that never seems to happen in a movie would be you go to the wrong guy and say it, and they're like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, it'd be good if you did it, you saw him do it to like 3 guys before he finally got the right one.
Well, he
But it's
probably
kinda-
has an idea of what Ferrara looks like.
Yeah, it's same thing. I'm
Yeah.
sure Ferrara has a picture of
Yeah.
Bond, but
He-
it would be
he-
kind of
yeah, it would be funny if you didn't say it to the right person.
Mm-hmm.
So here's just something I have a question. I'm not sure this is like a ding against the movie, but here's something I don't know about, and maybe this is something you can
Mhm.
fill me in on. Was sponsoring an ice skater a thing in the 80s? Because Christados is
They
like,
talk about it a couple
it
times.
does come up. Like, was this a thing that like some dude could like sponsor an Olympic
I mean,
level?
I
She's not
don't
in the
remem-
Olympics yet. But
Well, fucking Flavor Flav's still sponsoring the entire women's water polo team.
is he really?
Yeah.
Didn't have that on my bingo card. Is that
No.
true?
Yeah, it's a whole thing. So
The
like,
Olympic team?
yeah, it was came out a few years ago. Please, if someone will correct in the comments, of course, whatever the specifics. But there was a thing where like Flavor Flav of all people read or saw something like U.S. Women's Olympic Volleyball Team isn't sure how they're going to raise the money to go to and he went on Instagram, whatever. He's like, I will personally pay all of their
Okay, so
airline
this is
tickets."
a thing.
And he's now become a tremendous promoter of women's athletic sports and sponsors many of these things.
Flavor
Did it-
Flav.
Yep,
Huh.
absolutely. So to this day it is because look, some countries sponsor their Olympic teams, but many, the US being one, the US government gives no money to Olympic athletes.
She's
generally.
American, this girl, so yeah.
So people do, in fact, I believe, rely on that kind of thing.
Okay.
Training costs. I mean, remember also I'm a collegiate athletic coach who has knows a lot of people who are at that high level. Da, da, da. So like, you got to get the money somewhere.
Then I asked
Most
the right
people are not
person.
making money on it. So,
Okay,
yeah.
okay. This wasn't. I just was like, because it comes up. Obviously, it comes up at the end when she
Yeah,
leaves.
yeah.
And, like, you
Oh,
need a
new
sponsor.
Da, 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 da.
Yeah.
It's a little weird. She'll just travel with him wherever, but maybe that's how it's. Who knows? Whatever.
Yeah,
Maybe it's just
I mean,
a plot device.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So this is interesting because we're meeting Christados. I guess because I was so young, I did not suspect this dude. I did not think this was like the real villain. I think this.
They
I mean,
play it off real. And Christosko's a great way of framing Columbo.
yeah, I think that, and this is from
Very
one of the
clever.
short stories.
Very clever.
I think that usually when Bond movies try and do a kind of plot twist, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work, and I don't like when they try and do that. In fact, I think that when the Mission Impossible movies try and do it, it doesn't work. I think, I mean, even the last Bond movie, when quick digression, when what's the character's name? I think his name was the character that Billy Magnuson played. He was with Felix.
Mm-hmm.
I knew right away that guy was dirty.
Yeah.
And I would have rather they just let us know right away that he was dirty.
Yeah.
Because it's such a fucking groaner.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, first of all, that guy's a really good actor, but he
Yeah.
always plays assholes.
Yeah.
And when he was cast, I go, he's dirty.
Yeah.
You know? So I just, but that does work in this movie. I don't know if it works because I just was too little to like know.
No, he's good. And, you know, Christados is like polished and everything like that.
Yeah.
So when Columbo comes forward and is like a very personable, laid back guy,
Yeah.
he really works. You can see
Yeah.
that they are opposite sides, and you
Yeah.
can see why they
And
hate each other.
their backstory is so interesting. I think this comes
So
directly
good.
from the Fleming book.
Yeah.
And what's funny is that Julian Glover does the same thing in Indiana Jones and the Last
He's
Crusade.
the villain in Indiana Jones. Yep,
And in that
exactly.
movie too, I
Yep,
had no
he also,
idea.
Yep.
You think he's at least an ally, and then
Yep.
he turns out to be
Boom.
a bad guy.
For the Nazis again.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. He's a Nazi sympathizer in both.
At the
those
time, I
movies.
didn't realize that, of course. I'm sure.
Yeah, I didn't know it was the same guy.
Yeah.
He's an English actor, and he's American in Indy, and he's
Yep.
Greek in this.
Yep.
Really good actor. I like him a lot. I love. So when he goes into town
Mm-hmm.
and they try and kill Melina with the motorcycle.
Yeah.
That scene's kind of humdrum, but I think the joke with the flowers is fucking amazing.
Yes.
Where he buys flowers and then he
yeah.
goes, "Could send those to
Send
the
to the
funeral."
funeral, yeah.
That's such a great moment.
Also, one thing I noticed from that and that whole scene is like, there's a lot of public killing in this movie. Attempts to kill. Like, you're like, we'll just tear up this town with killer motorcyclists.
Yeah.
Later on the ski slope, they're like zooming between
Oh, yeah.
skiers, firing machine guns.
There's no
from the thing.
regard.
You're like, who's gonna pay attention?
There's no regard for
Yeah.
collateral damage in this movie.
Wild.
I mean, maybe that comes up. I'm sure that comes up in other Bond movies, but this
Yeah.
one's particularly
Yeah.
egregious. Yeah. So I think I may be going a little bit out of order. Not that
It's
order
okay.
matters. There's a line I love where it's after. So we see Melina
Mhm.
again. Another really great scene on that sled.
Yep.
Really, a really like emotional scene that's
Yep.
pretty
Yep.
quick.
Yep.
Where again he's not flirting with her.
Yep.
And she's like, "This is about my parents," and he's like, "Look, your father
Yeah.
was part of this. Let
I
me handle
promise
it."
I'll
Yeah,
let you
again,
know.
Moore is so good in
Yeah.
that scene.
Yeah.
He's so sincere.
Yeah.
He's not lecherous at all.
Nope.
He's so like just playing it.
Yeah.
Again, I think this is his best. This is the best performance
Yeah.
as James Bond.
And you can see why, because normally you could see she'd be like, "No, I'm on this course. I'm not. I already said it."
Yeah.
She's spooked as hell. She just tried to get murdered by
Yeah.
motorcyclists with
He gets
spiked
through to
tires.
her.
Like, yeah. She's like, oh, she's shaken.
Yeah.
So she's willing to go back and wait for him to tell her the next step or
Right.
help her with the next.
But you
plot
know
line.
she's not getting
Yeah.
silent because she says, "I'll wait," but not for long.
Yes. Yeah.
You know,
Really
so you
good.
know, yeah. Again, they just do such a great job with
good.
her. This is why I kind of like get annoyed when lesser Bond girls get credit for being like different when it's just
Yeah.
like spin kicks and
Yeah,
all this.
exactly.
This is like a really interesting character.
Yeah.
And they don't belabor it. They
Yeah.
don't murder it.
No.
They still keep it.
Yep.
They keep things moving like they would if this were Moonraker.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
know, like that's what I love about it. Is
Yeah.
that this movie just moves at such a good clip.
Yep.
It's not different in a way. It doesn't get damp. You
No.
know, like it's serious.
Yep.
And it never gets damp.
Nope.
It never
Keep
collapses under
Always
the weight.
moving the whole time. It's a solid couple minutes more
Like
long. He
2:10
never,
tops.
Never lags
Yeah.
though.
The Glen ones were at most 210.
Yeah.
Or south of that.
Yeah.
So there's a line. So he goes back to his hotel, and BB throws herself at
Yeah.
him, and I love the line where he says, "You get your clothes on, and I'll buy you an
Buy
ice
an ice cream. Oh, yeah.
It's-
Very
but it's
funny.
great because it's like again, it's like
He's like, it's a kid.
it's a kid.
And he's looking old. He's starting to look a little older at this
He's
point.
54 here.
Yeah.
She's under 20.
Yeah.
But it's this idea that like this could have been a consideration. You do see this in the later Glenn movies where when Dalton comes around, he sleeps with much fewer women, and that was an AIDS consideration.
Yes.
This idea that
No,
like
no 7.
he can't. What's that?
No 7, they called it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's interesting. The idea that he can't bag like 6 babes
Yeah,
in a
yeah.
single movie like he could. I mean, because I think there's a stat somewhere. I think Moonraker, I could have this wrong, which is a previous movie,
Mhm, yeah,
might be the most women he gets in a single movie.
I believe it.
I think it's like 6 or something.
Yeah. And again, this is supposed to be a more serious movie. He's
Yeah.
got a mission. He's keeping to it. Da,
Yeah.
da, 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 da.
And,
Yeah.
and I want to get to the one tryst we do see him have, which I do think is great. I want to see.
But it makes sense in the plot.
It makes sense
frankly.
in the plot, and again, I want to get to that actor
Yeah.
soon. So,
Yeah, ironically.
so
that is.
we see you talked about thugs. There's a thug here named Kriegler, who's one in a long line of like I'm gonna call Grants, like a bleach blonde
Yeah.
psycho.
Yeah.
Um,
Is that the Charles Dance character?
no.
Yeah.
We'll talk about Charles Dance.
Yeah.
Kriegler is the Olympic biathlon.
Oh yeah, Eric Kriegler.
Eric
Kriegler,
Kriegler.
the
This guy's
German
great.
champion.
He again doesn't say. Oh, he speaks later on the boat, but he doesn't
Yeah.
say anything.
Nope.
And again, he's just like this East German, like rough-looking dude, really
Yep.
fit.
Yep.
And again, he's not Robert Shaw,
No.
but he is like a tough fucking
He's a
guy.
killer. Yeah.
he is scary looking.
Yeah.
and you, I guess it stretches plausibility that Roger Moore, who's still very handsome and
Yeah.
in decent shape, is they have him against a lot of like younger dudes who
Yeah.
probably kill him in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But you have to kind of suspend your disbelief or
Yeah.
not. But so here's a question I have. So we have this very long ski chase, meaning
Yeah.
it's in different sections.
Yep.
Which I think is really, really well done. I'm gonna get to my one problem with it, which I've already tipped my hand.
Mhm.
But let's talk about the first section. So I have a question. Maybe you can help me out on this since you cleared up the sponsor thing for me.
And told you that the priest was dirty. Go on.
Yeah, well, that priest thing blew my mind. I'm not sure. I'm gonna.
I'm telling you.
All right, anybody who wants to respond to this
Okay,
priest
yeah,
thing,
yeah.
I think it's a great. It tracks.
Anyway.
Can anybody just go on a fucking ski jump? Like, could you or I? with
That
our
that I
skis-
always thought was wild, but apparently
like,
yes.
Could anybody like?
And that thing is
seems
full of people.
it's full of people. Like it's a water slide.
Yeah, I guess
And
so.
I mean, I know there are a lot of like Olympic athletes there.
Yeah.
I guess they're there. I don't know.
I
It's
mean,
like,
it's Olympic off season. It's a public ski jump. I
but
don't know.
Bond just
Couldn't
like
tell you. Couldn't
squeezes into an elevator,
tell you. Yeah.
and that seems really taut. I just find it hard to believe that like you or I, without any could just go up
Yeah.
there with our skis, and be like, "Can I go?"
And there's nothing else to do up there with your skis. All the people in that elevator are presumably skiing off it.
It just seems like
Yeah.
unless you were at the level of an Olympic ski jumper, you would get hurt or die.
Yeah.
The
Well,
liability.
I assume they are assuming because it's a terrifying thing to do. Unless you are that kind of person, you wouldn't be doing it.
Right, but if you're like a 15-year-old snowboarder, I know snowboarding wasn't
Yeah.
a thing yet.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
To
Maybe
dig
the
a-
guy at the top looks at you and tells you no or something if he doesn't think you can do
I
it.
guess. So, and the jump itself is really cool. I
Jump
like
is
that.
cool.
We see a very young.
What's
Charles-
amazing, by the way, is I think it's actually the Charles Dance character
Yeah.
gets on the ski jump with him,
Right.
and like punches him in the gut.
Yeah.
You're like, so also this random henchman is like, I can do this ski jump too.
Yeah.
I'm like, shit. Okay.
Yeah, it's Charles Dance, very young
Yeah.
Charles Dance who doesn't say anything.
No, the whole movie.
A lot of these, yeah, right. Not a lot of chatter from the
Mm-mm.
thugs in this movie, which I think is a
Yeah,
fascinating.
you know, nobody wants to pay them the speaking rate.
Yeah, that probably could be it. So they do the ski jump, which is really cool. Then another chase comes out,
Yep.
which has got really great stunt work. He goes into the bobsled.
Yes, great time.
I hate the fucking music.
It's terrible. And also they do a couple like goofy gigs. Like he skis over this table.
Yeah.
And then like a guy stands up with his aquavit like, what?
You know who that guy is?
No.
So there's a guy. I'm glad you brought this up. I
Uh-huh.
don't know his name. You see a guy stand up
Yeah.
with a bottle of wine. That guy, he was part of the crew. It's the third Bond movie in a row
Uh-huh.
where he witnesses Bond do something.
Oh, it's a
He's on the
recurring
beach.
character?
He's on. I don't know if it's a recurring character. He's on the beach in Sardinia,
Uh-huh.
and he looks at his when he sees the Lotus come out of the
Yeah.
water, and he looks at his bottle of wine. He's in Venice when the gondola drives by.
Oh, I never
in
realized
St.
that
Mark's
was supposed to
Square,
be the same
and,
dude.
And then it's the same dude. He was part of the crew.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
clever. Then now,
Yeah.
I get now. I appreciate
Yeah.
the way I would.
He's not in Octopussy. I don't know why. He's in the 3 movies
That's
in a row.
pretty clever.
Yeah,
Okay,
he's
fair
part-
enough.
He's part of the crew. It's sort of a
It's a
with
recurring
cameo.
gag, the way like
Yeah.
J.W. Pepper would run into him surprising number of times.
But that's not a gag.
it.
That's like a character being brought back. This is
Yeah.
just like you would never. I didn't know that until I started watching the
Fair enough.
documentaries on the
Okay.
DVDs.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, really cool stunt work with him skiing in the bobsled and chasing the bobsled
Yep.
and all that. I just really hate the music. And again, if you were to, this is like the worst music in the movie for me. It's just so I don't mind the disco parts of it because The Spy Who Loved Me has a disco
this
score,
kinda
but
did.
it works.
I'm hearing it in my head as we're talking.
It's like
Yeah.
it
Nobody
sounds like
wants to
Monday
hear
Night
this.
Football. It's like
Yeah, it really does. Yeah. A lot of horns. Yeah.
It sounds like a Monday Night Football game from 1981,
Yeah.
or even the Olympics, like
Yeah.
like before they got John Williams to do it. Here's a scene I think is just fucking pointless. The scene where he's attacked on the hockey rink.
Again, that was them. I'm like, again, they're trying to kill these guys like 800 times in public. I'm like, good lord.
Yeah, but that scene
It is,
kind of
it's
has
very
no
weird.
point.
It has no point. It's just supposed to be another funny thing where he kicks people into a hockey goal so you can see the hockey goal thing.
And then
kick up.
Ferrara gets killed, which I like, but that could have happened while he was inside. You could have literally lifted that out
Yep.
because I like him talking to BB.
Yep.
And I like
Because he's
and
trying to find information from
That's
BB. There's a
fine.
useful
Yeah.
thing to it.
he could have just walked outside and Ferrara would have been killed
Yep.
and it would have been the same thing.
Second Stone Cold
So
kill.
Okay.
Ferrara garroted in the car. You see his neck's bloody. You're like,
Brutal.
shit.
And they leave the dove thing,
Yeah.
the dove pin.
That he later gets to use in the other car.
Oh, we're gonna get to that.
Freaking good.
Yeah, that's a great kill.
Man,
And
Ferrara's a nice guy. The whole
Yeah.
thing, you're like, shit.
yeah, it's cool. And that's
This is a
very
dangerous
Bond.
profession.
Yeah, going all the way back to Karen Bay
Yeah.
in Fresh with Love. It's sacrificial lamb,
Yep.
like a Bond ally getting killed.
Yep.
VJ in the next movie.
Yep.
That's also a brutal one.
Yep.
That's I don't know that we see that so much now, but certainly in the Connerys and the Moores,
Yeah.
60s, 70s, and 80s, you were seeing like an ally of his happens to Tibbet, and I'm just going through it in my head.
Yeah.
Happens kind of all through
Yeah.
Connery and Moore.
Yep.
Yeah. I wrote that down. Luigi death is something we don't have a lot of now.
No.
So another scene I love so he hooks back up with Melina
Mm-hmm.
and kind of walking around Corfu, which is cool.
Yeah.
I like it. I think what's interesting about Bond, why they were such big hits in the beginning, is that they were travel logs.
Yeah. I was just about to say it's
Yeah.
a travelogue movie.
And as we even get up to this point, international travel becomes more affordable.
Mm-hmm.
But I still love that, like, I love when Bond movies, and they're hit and miss with this, when they show you, like, the culture.
They're like walking through the marketplace.
Right.
You see the dancers.
Yeah.
And they're, by the way, you see those guys and like, now that would be they would get like some amazing dancers.
Yeah,
who
it's
did
two
it.
old men.
And then it was like just two guys that
old
they probably
dudes.
actually found in the marketplace
Yeah.
and the whole shtick, and
So-
it feels very real.
Yeah, I like that. And I think that that's something that we're still going to a lot of places, but they don't
Yeah.
take the time to do that anymore, even though the movies are much longer now, ironically. But
Yeah.
there's a scene that at the end of this section of it, where they're in Corfu and they're on like that beautiful like patio, like
Yeah,
overlooking.
yeah.
And
My father used to come here.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's a scene. Yeah, it's a really emotional scene for her, but like we're on their backs and it's wide.
Yeah.
And again, it's like that hotel scene and the scene in the sled where it's this emotional scene, but it's quick
Yep.
and it's not pushed.
Nope.
It's not pushed too hard.
Nope.
And I think that's a mistake they might make today.
Yeah.
They would try and make too big a meal of this. And again, they're John Glenn has his hand on the till like perfectly
Mhm.
with this whole thing about, with Melina and her mission and her
Yep.
grief.
Yep.
And again, he's just doing it because he's an editor.
Yeah.
And he knows I got to keep this thing
Yeah,
moving.
yeah.
I mean, that's like when having an editor in the director's chair really shows
Yeah.
itself, I think, in a positive way.
Yeah.
I
I still, again, just like with Cortina, not that you hear about Cortina very often until the Olympics happen.
yeah.
Every time I hear Corfu, and it crops up, it's a big tourist destination.
Right.
I instantly think of this movie.
Yeah,
Instantly.
absolutely. Well, because they hadn't like, it's interesting. There's very few countries that Bond hasn't been to.
Mhm.
Oddly, he's never been to Australia,
Hmm.
but Australia's been in so many other movies.
Yeah,
So I don't know that I like need him to go there. So like he's already repeated a lot of stuff, but there
Yeah.
was at this point there were still places he hadn't been yet.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Greece we hadn't seen him
Yeah.
in. He goes to India, which we talked about in our Gandhi episode. So but as far as like there's very few places in the world because there's been so many movies.
He goes to India right after Gandhi came out.
Yeah, we talked about that a year later.
Yeah.
No, India.
Yeah.
We talked about
Yeah.
India had a real moment, and
Yeah.
India goes the next year.
Yeah.
India in the early '80s
Yeah.
had this moment,
Yeah.
and Gandhi probably was
Good for them, yeah.
was a huge part of the movie.
100%. 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. So you had talked about something that you in the helicopter, how Bond clocked how the priest was
hmm
doing the sign of the cross. I love, and I didn't notice this until maybe this time I watched it for
Mhm.
this or a few times ago. I love how when he's having dinner with Christados and they switch out the candle, and
Yes.
Bond clocks that. He does
Oh,
like a
does he
little look
clock
of
it?
like
Oh, interesting.
he has a little look of like, what's weird. There's
Huh.
no close up or anything. It's
Yeah.
like a wide shot.
I noticed them switching it. I didn't notice him noticing.
Yeah, I noticed them
That's clever.
switching it because I know that the payoff is that they're being bugged.
Yeah, they're being listened to.
But Bond makes like a little bit of a face like that's weird. And I think that's such great spycraft that like
Yeah.
he doesn't like grab his gun and
Yep.
start shooting people, but he's just like,
Yep.
I think he probably we don't agree on the priest thing, although I am
Mhm.
gonna think about it. I think at that point, I think Bond knows he's probably being bugged.
Yeah.
Doesn't
Yes.
matter
Yes.
because he's not saying anything that compromises him.
Yes. Yes.
I think he knows he's in Columbo's place.
Yep. Oh,
He's like,
he 100%. He knows he's.
I'm
yeah.
being bugged.
Yeah.
I think today you just would have microphones.
Yeah.
You know, you wouldn't have to retrieve the microphone away, but I think that's a way to kind of clue the audience.
Yeah.
I think it's a really good gag.
Yeah.
I talked about Melina being at the casino and how that goes nowhere. There is a deleted scene. So there's a deleted scene that kind of explains her presence there.
Yeah.
And that like kind of sour look on her face. I guess if you're gonna cut that scene, I would probably cut her out of the casino. I don't bump on it. It's
I
just
mean,
like
she must. Yeah, because
it doesn't really
otherwise
go anywhere.
she's in mourning. Why is she going to a casino? But presumably she's tracking down the killers.
him.
and-
She
yeah.
doesn't. She's over his shoulder.
Yeah,
I guess it still
exactly.
kind of works.
Yeah.
But at no point. I mean, it's fine. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
I buy that she's at the casino because it's like she's not jealous. She like wants to see.
No, she's trying to track down the killers.
Yeah, and she's not trusting him, even
Yeah.
though she says it, which
Yeah.
makes total sense.
Yeah.
So really great character. We're gonna talk about. I want to talk about is Cassandra Harris, who you probably know. At this time, she was married to Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah.
She tragically died about 10 years later of like ovarian cancer, and so didn't live to see him become Bond.
Wow.
But Pierce Brosnan visited the set while she was doing it,
Wow.
and he met Cubby Broccoli, and he was on
Probably
his radar
the-
of like he would have been about
interesting.
27 or 8 at that point.
Yeah.
And this is pre-Remington Steele. This is like
Wow.
a year before Remington
Mhm.
Steele. So he really wasn't anybody people knew who they were.
Yeah.
But it's just very interesting that like there's this Braza connection
Yeah.
to this movie.
Yeah.
So he meets Cubby Broccoli. You know, he is cast in The Living Daylights
Mhm.
by Broccoli, but you know, the Remington Steele contract is still in effect and has to give
Yep,
up the role with like 2
famously.
days left.
Yeah.
So it's interesting how like there's a Brosnan connection
Yeah.
to this. This is a really cool character. I like that she's this woman who's
Great.
English and playing like this countess character.
Yep.
And she's more age appropriate to more.
Yep.
So when he sleeps with her, it's the only woman we see him sleep with until the end.
Yeah.
But it feels like it doesn't. It feels. I mean, she's younger.
She's
but
like, I was sent here as a honeypot. You're like, okay.
Yeah, but it's cool. It's like they
Yeah.
have good chemistry, and
Yep.
again, she's not like 30 years old or 23 years. I don't know how
No.
old she is, but like she seems like Maud Adams, who's in the next movie and in a previous movie.
Yep.
She seems age appropriate.
Yep.
It doesn't
Yep.
seem he can't be her father.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
You know, which as we get to the next two movies, we get closer to
Tanya
that.
Roberts. Yeah.
Tanya
let's not-
Roberts.
let's not
Yeah.
get there.
I mean, yeah. Moore actually said allegedly he quit the role because he was older than Tanya Roberts' mother.
yeah.
Yeah, he was like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
Who knows? But it's a funny,
Yeah.
story. There's a great bit here which I never got because I didn't know the reference where they're by the fireplace and he tips his wine glass down. It's Casablanca.
Oh, I never thought about
Yeah,
that. You're
it's
right.
a visual callback
You're
to
right.
Casablanca. I
You're
never. I think when I saw Casablanca, however many years later, I was like, oh,
Yeah. I hadn't thought about that. Good
Yeah.
one.
yeah.
But,
So it's very, yeah. Let's talk about Locke. I think Locke is such a great henchman.
Because that's then the next morning.
Is this your kill?
Stone Cold kill number 3.
Hers is real-
Liesel.
Liesel.
Naster. He's not even necessarily there to kill her. He's there to kill Bond. But he's like, I'm seeing an innocent, terrified woman walking away. I'm going to run her freaking down.
Runs her over with a sand
It's
buggy.
like, yeah. Nasty as hell.
And it's played very
Played nasty as hell.
Yeah. No music.
He's chasing her down. She's running, screaming, please,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, it's a really
Oh.
mournful moment, and yeah, and it's in the character.
Man, Locke.
Yeah, Locke is nasty.
Locke is nasty in a way that you rarely see. Like this, yeah, like he is a true henchman. He's not a. There's no gimmick.
No gimmick.
There's no hat that chops off statues'
No, he's
heads.
just a
There's not
s-
biting through things with metal teeth.
Yeah.
He's just a fucking killer.
Yeah,
Shit.
and I think that like they don't do this enough. I mean, they come kind of close with Dave Bautista and Spectre, but again, that's like a big guy.
Yeah.
He's got the thumbs. I mean, like he's more of a Jaws and an Odd Job. He doesn't
Yes.
speak, which is cool.
Yeah, and he's great. He's proficient.
Yeah, but
no,
they don't
Locke-
have just a guy. Again,
Locke is a creepy killer guy.
just a creepy
He's
killer.
creepy killer
And you-
guy. He looks creepy.
he breaks
whole
out of a
fucking
jail by
thing.
killing a psychiatrist.
I don't think
you
you
know?
ever hear. Do you hear him speak ever?
Never, not once,
Even, wow.
not once.
Nuts.
But it's not played as a gag.
No.
Because like Jaws and Oddjob can't speak.
Yeah.
This guy, you hear him, you see him in the car talking into a
Yeah,
phone.
and you see him directing people
So
at
he's
the
not
ski
mute
jump.
or
Yeah,
anything.
yeah,
He
yeah.
has
no.
the capability
no,
of
he's
speech.
just not talking to you because he's not there to talk to you. He's there to kill your ass.
Yeah, and again, the guy's got such a great look.
Yeah.
I don't know the actor from anything else that I'm
Good
aware
guy,
of.
yeah, no.
I forget his name, but yeah. So I think he's a great henchman.
Yeah.
And has been throughout this whole thing
So
because
good.
he's quiet. It's such a simple choice.
Yep.
Where they're just not pushing it.
Yep.
And Locke is not. When you talk about the great henchman, you talk about Oddjob, you talk about Jaws, you talk about Grant.
Yeah.
Those are the big three.
Yeah, yeah.
Those are the three that even if you don't know their names,
Yeah.
the guy
Oh,
with the
that guy,
hat,
that guy,
the
the
blonde
big
dude with the
blonde, yeah.
wristwatch,
Yep.
and the dude with the metal teeth.
Yep.
Those are just canonical,
Yeah.
iconic villains. Locke is not anybody. You'd have to be a Bond fan to even know what his fucking name is.
Yeah.
Or you'd have to be like, or just a really astute.
Yeah.
Um,
Leopold Locke,
yeah,
enforcer in the Brussels underworld. You're
Exactly.
Like, the Belgian underworld?
yeah.
Must be fucking nasty as hell is all I can say.
So here we meet Topol. Am I saying that right? Topol?
Yeah, Topol.
Topol. So here we meet Topol.
Probably the most famous Israeli actor at that time.
Yeah.
Because
And-
Fiddler on the Roof.
Fiddler on the Roof. And Topol's the only one who I think comes near Pedro Armendariz in From Much With Love, Karen Bay,
Mhm.
of being like a sidekick who's like a really rich character.
Yeah.
And I think this character's
Great
so rich
character.
because the first thing he says, he's like, Christados is the guy you want. Locke works for him, not for me.
Yeah.
He's like, look, I'm a smuggler. I smuggle gold, pistachio
Yeah,
nuts,
yeah.
but not heroin.
Yeah.
So this guy's saying, like, look, I'm a fucking criminal.
Yeah.
But I don't
That
smuggle
kind of-
heroin,
yeah.
and I'm not a traitor.
Yeah.
And he's like, your government fucked up and gave this guy a Medal of Freedom, but he sold out my people. So
Yeah.
it's just this thing that Bond has sort of stumbled upon. That's like it's like this war between these two guys.
Yeah.
That's so rich.
Yes. You're like, they would have been trying to kill each other's ass whether Bond was there or
Right.
the Zatek happened at all.
This is like a conflict that was going on before
Yeah.
Bond, and if
So
Bond
good.
had stepped aside,
Yep.
it would be going on
Yep.
till one of them died.
Yep. And by the way, when they bring him back later in the movie, they bring him back for a good reason in a good way.
Right. And that's why I think Liesel is killed, because Christados is like, yeah, kill his fucking girlfriend.
Yeah.
You know?
100%.
Like kill Bond,
Yeah.
but kill his fucking
his girlfriend,
girlfriend.
yeah.
If you can't get Bond,
Yeah. I hate him.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really, again, they're evil. It's like the difference between like evil and nasty.
Yeah.
These villains are nasty, and the villains in Quantum are nasty.
Yeah.
And some others too. I think Lashif is nasty, but
Yeah.
he's still, he still like has a mission that's like a bigger thing.
Yeah, yeah.
For like, he's still like a cog in a wheel.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that Topol's great.
So good.
I think he's given really good dialogue.
And
he's
his
got-
just the way he contrasts with Christados.
Yeah.
They're both Greek smugglers,
Yeah.
same age, same everything, but
Yeah.
a very different feel.
Yeah.
So good.
And I think I can't speak to this because I've seen the movie 5,000 times. I
Mhm.
wonder as a viewer, and I can't ask you either because you probably don't remember the first time you saw this. Bond doesn't trust him right away,
No.
which is smart. But he's like, by tomorrow we'll
taking
be
your drink.
friends.
Yeah.
I wonder as a viewer if people believed that Columbo was the good guy,
Yeah.
or if they thought that he was just. I mean, I think by the next scene,
Yeah,
he's fighting
yeah,
next to
yeah.
Bond. You probably pretty much buy it
Yeah.
there. So I don't know. I guess I'd have to ask somebody who didn't see this movie.
Yeah, it's almost impossible.
It's almost
Yeah,
impossible to
yeah.
know. But anyway,
Yeah.
but I think it's very credible. This warehouse scene is so great.
So good.
It's so taut. And again, I know I pissed on the music a lot, but even if John Barry were scoring this, I'd still want this scene to be quiet.
Yeah.
And I think that even the Barry Bonds, I think the Barry scored Bonds, he knew when to leave stuff dry.
Yeah.
He knew
Yeah.
when not to score.
Yeah.
I think that's a whole conversation I've talked about on this podcast before, regardless of the movie. But this warehouse scene is so taut and again, very grounded. It's like it's a gunfight in a warehouse. It's
Yep.
skulking around a warehouse, and
Yep.
it's like on a waterfront. It's
Yep.
like not elaborate.
Yep.
It could almost not be Bond.
Yeah.
but in a good way.
Yeah, yeah. One question I have for you that I've never figured out in my entire life.
Okay.
there are all those giant rolls of something that the heroin is being, or the opium, or all opium is being stored in. And Columbo says, like, oh, old smuggler's trick. What are those supposed to be? Are they supposed to be giant rolls of paper? What is the
Oh,
trick there? What are you supposed to
I
think
don't know.
those are?
I don't know. I guess it's. I mean, it's a shipping
I,
warehouse.
I
So
always thought they were supposed to look like something else, but they're actually used containers for heroin. But
I think it's.
I always wondered what they were supposed to be.
I think yeah. I don't know what it is exactly. I think it's something that if you were to see it on a ship, you would
Like,
think
oh
it's
yeah,
like paper, tarp, something
yeah,
like
kind of what I
that.
thought. I kind of wondered idly.
Yeah, I don't know. It may be something that like. Yeah, I don't know. I think
Yeah,
it's just that they're smuggling, which again
yeah,
is very grounded.
yep.
Um,
And at the time, even when I was a kid, because I always thought like, I think because grew up on like Jacques Cousteau and stuff, I always thought like underwater stuff was really cool in that
yes,
era, in those early 80s when I was growing up and seeing this. And the fact they have the JIM diving suit, I thought that was the coolest thing in the universe when
very
I was
cool.
like 11.
Yeah,
So when they have it there, I'm like, oh my gosh,
yeah, and we see it.
Chekhov's JIM
We're gonna
diving
see it.
suit.
Yeah, we're gonna
Yeah.
see it again soon. There's one bit in this that I love. I mean, this whole gunfight's really cool. There's a bit that Bond does where he has his grenade and he takes the pin out and he holds it, and throws it at the last second,
Yeah.
and then it lands, and the guy goes to pick it up, and it blows up.
Right. Yep.
Such a great gag.
Yep.
Because it's like, again, not that high tech. It's just like, okay, I don't know how long I don't know how long the fuse is, but he would know. Let's say
Yeah.
it's 30 seconds.
Yep.
He holds it for like 28 seconds or something.
Yeah.
And then like throws it. It's just so great.
Yep.
It's something that he probably has done before and probably learned in training. Again.
Believe when you're holding the handle on it, the timer doesn't start to release the handle after
Right,
the
but
bullet, so he's holding it. Oh, he didn't release it. Wow.
I feel like he's holding it
Yeah.
like, and if he mistimes that
It go-
throw,
Wow.
he wouldn't have been blown up, but if he mistimes that throw, it blows up in the air
Yep,
or it
yep.
blows up on,
Yep.
so
Yep.
it's
Yeah.
just this really low tech way of just
Yeah.
like chewing the clock on this
And
guy.
again, speaking of low tech, but also such a cool moment in that scene. You see Columbo has the habit where he's chewing the pistachios the whole
Oh,
time.
yeah.
Now you see the why. He throws
Yeah.
them out there. The guy crunches like boom.
Yeah.
Like damn.
It's
So
such
it's
a
not
great-
just a shtick.
It's not a shtick. He says he has these pistachios because the actor's like, A, I'm hungry, or B, this guy needs to
Yeah.
have a twitch or something.
Yeah.
I assume this kill is on your list. Bond kills Locke.
That's one of the coldest kills in the
So
franchise.
is this on your list?
Yes.
So this,
Yes.
I want to talk
In the
about this.
franchise. That's one of the coldest kills.
This will probably be the meme that I post when this episode airs
Uh-huh.
in a few months. You probably know this, Moore didn't want to do this.
Wow.
He felt like it was Bond, but it wasn't Roger Moore Bond.
Oh,
And what's
interesting.
interesting is when he throws the
The pin.
pin and the car starts to slide, that still would have been cool. That probably would have been like, okay, it's him doing this little thing, but the fact that he
Kicks
kicks
it.
the car is, yeah, it's definitely the most hardcore kill that Roger Moore had ever done.
Yeah. Also, one thing I appreciate about that is when the car rolls down in a movie, even 5 years later, and probably till today, the car would have exploded when it hit the bottom, and
Right.
it does not. They're like, no, it's cars.
And you see the
getting
body
destroyed.
slide out,
Yeah.
and it doesn't look like a mannequin. I mean,
Yeah.
it's really well timed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably
This is for Liesel. Boom.
no, it's for Ferrara.
A Ferrara. Sorry. Yep.
But you know what's interesting? It really should be for Liesel.
Yeah.
I mean, but
Yeah.
it
Bah.
doesn't really matter.
No.
It doesn't matter because
No.
this guy's a cold-blooded killer,
Yeah.
and it's such a great.
You
and
left
look,
this with Ferrara.
This
yeah.
is a great. Yeah, you left this with Ferrara, so it doesn't matter who it is.
He held on to that also, by the way, and took it with him on the raid.
Yeah, it's
He's
great.
like, I'm remembering this guy who died trying to help me.
Exactly, and I think that's great. And I think it's like Locke is a great villain who gets a great death.
Great villain, great
because
death.
a lot of great villains or great he's actually a great
Mhm.
henchman. Let's be more specific.
Yes.
Because he's a henchman.
He's a henchman.
A lot of great henchmen don't get great deaths. I'll give you the best example of a great henchman who got a stupid death.
Mm-hmm.
Xenia Onatopp in GoldenEye. Fantastic henchwoman. Her death is
So
stupid.
dumb. Yeah.
And she deserved better. She's the best thing about that movie.
Yeah.
And she might be fourth or fifth on that list of like henchmen that people remember.
Yeah.
It's only 31 years ago.
Yeah.
And her death is dog shit.
Yep.
Um,
And by the way, one other thing about Locke dying is part of what's great about it is he's been shown to be this like stone cold killer. He never talks that you see, he's but in that last minute, he's terrified.
Screams.
He's terrified of dying.
Yeah. And we hear him scream.
Yeah, like he's not an emotionless robot. He's only he's a killer, and then he's a human again for a second.
That's a great point.
Oh.
And you hear him scream,
Yeah.
which I always forget about. Yeah, the idea that like Bond doesn't just kill him, he like
Scrabbling.
breaks him.
Yeah.
You know?
Whew.
So it's such a great moment. And So,
Yep, that is the fourth Stone Cold kill to
so
me.
we have one more to go.
No, that was the fourth.
Oh, that's
It
four.
was Blofeld. Bond has two, Blofeld and Locke has two, Ferrara and Lethal.
Okay.
So those are my four Stone Cold kills for this
Okay.
movie.
And I would add Gonzalez killing Melina's parents. to
Yeah,
that,
yes, awesome.
which is Stone Cold kill. Okay. So, I have a question I don't think you have an answer to, and I think it's just a hole in this movie that is just a hole in this movie. But why does Melina leave her scuba tank at the bottom?
I was thinking about that at the time. The only thing I could come up with, and again, keep in mind, I'm an anthropologist, but I have a lot of archaeological training that goes along with when I did that. So I've been on many digs and all, is her thought at the time, obviously it's plot is the reason.
No,
but
like, what's her reason in the moment?
She's just going up for a minute. It's an active excavation site that they're on.
Right.
Like,
because her dad is an archaeologist.
yeah, her dad's an archaeologist, and they show her. He goes up. She's excavating the site. She's vacuuming.
It's very cool.
Grit off of an ancient mosaic underwater.
Yeah.
It's an active site. She doesn't want to maybe prep an additional thing of equipment to go down later. She'll just drop back down there, pick up the thing, and go. You got to prep a tank. You got to do all that kind of crap. She's not going to want to prep the tank. This is me trying to fill in
That's
something.
more than I could come up with.
Clearly a stupid thing that they just did for the plot, but I'm trying to come up with
No.
a reason.
That's
That was
not
what I came up
bad. I think.
with. Didn't want to re-prep the gear.
Yeah, I guess if that could have been set up in some way.
No,
I
it doesn't
don't know.
make any sense.
Yeah. Okay. So do you know? I always wonder, and this I found out years ago. I think it's really interesting. You notice how the underwater shots in this movie, the close-ups on the faces, look different than any other Bond movie when they're underwater. So Carol Bouquet had some sort of sinus condition where she just could not dive. So to get the close-ups, Derek Meddings.
A sheet of water in front of them.
They shot her, and they did Bonds just to match. I've seen Roger Moore underwater in other movies. Slow motion with a wind machine and bubbles coming up. And I think the shots are beautiful. It's
Looks
such
great.
a cool effect. But I always wondered, like, why does it look so different? And they did Roger Moore just so it would match.
Yeah.
So that's why.
And just, by the way, just the actual underwater shots are wild. Like the submarines, the ship.
Well, I want to get to the submarine.
Okay,
so
my gosh, everything's so well
So
friggin' done.
here,
Who shoots underwater? That sucks. Shooting underwater like that sucks.
yeah. So I think from this point where they go down on the submarine, all the way to the mountain climbing scene, this movie fucking rips.
Yeah.
And it's like Raiders of the Lost Ark from the Well of Souls all the way to the truck chase.
Yep.
It's
Boom,
just
boom, 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 boom.
one thing after another. And it's these movies came out at the same time.
Yeah.
2 months apart.
Yeah.
So it's Raiders obviously was very influenced by Bond.
Yeah.
Bond becomes influenced by Raiders a little bit, at least in
Mhm.
Octopussy. But I think this is some people, and I talked about this a lot with Joe Russo in our Raiders episode. Some people complain that like, oh, it's like a video game because you're just going from one thing to the next to the next. I think it's done so well here and in Raiders.
Yeah, but it's
and
supposed to. Like,
no, I know.
It's a build. The movie, they're finding everything out, and then once
Yeah.
you find it out, you do
Yeah.
the act, you do
Yeah.
the run.
So I love when they go down in the submarine, which has been set up.
That, by the way, is good music.
Yeah, I think the music in the submarine is great. I think that's because you're using the theme.
Bum, bum, bum.
Yeah.
And then there's a shot where the sub passes right in
Yeah.
front of the sunken ship
Yeah.
with the bubbles. Fuck,
Yeah,
that's
that
good
cue is great.
cinematography.
That cue is
Damn.
great. I think, and this is like really high adventure.
Mm-hmm.
It's like really like high adventure,
Mhm.
and it's like really high stakes. But it's just, and again, Melina mans a submarine. She's got
Yeah.
so much utility.
Yeah, yeah.
He needs her.
Yep.
She's an archaeologist's daughter.
Yep.
She knows how to man this submarine.
Yep.
I think he ends up driving in the scene after, but that's okay.
Yeah,
Whatever.
yeah. Because
Bond-
that's because she's almost
she's-
dead because of
she's-
the
yeah,
oxygen loss.
It's fine. And
Yeah.
Bond, we know, can get behind any moving
Yeah, yeah,
vehicle
exactly,
and learn
yeah.
it. But at
Yeah.
least, you can't cut her out of this movie.
No.
Because then
No,
he can't
absolutely
get down
not.
there.
No, no.
And she's the one who says, I'll make the mixture in the tanks.
Yep.
And, you know,
I have all
like,
the gear. Yep.
I have
know
all
what
the
to
gear
do.
that we need. So she is vital to this excavation.
Yeah.
And it's really fucking creepy. It's a lot like, again, my Raiders is a lot on my mind because it's like they got to go into this really scary place. It's got like dead bodies everywhere.
Horrifyingly dead people in it.
Yeah. And the idea that like, you know, they have to go and get this thing. and
He's got a
defuse
little card,
bomb.
by the way. It's clever. They
Yeah.
gave him a card. He's kept it with. He's like, I wouldn't know how, but they gave me the instruction card. Do this, do this, do that. Cut in this
Well, no,
order.
it's
boom.
on. Isn't the instruction card down there already?
No, he has it with him.
Oh, he has it with him. Okay, but there's like an explosive device there, which is
Yeah.
also great because it sets up something for the fight that's coming
Yep,
up.
yep,
And then
yep.
you see those POV shots of the bad guy coming,
Yes.
which almost sound like Jaws. Like
Actually,
dun.
so I was wondering if it because he's got the deep breathing, it's like a Darth Vader callback.
Yes. Oh, it could be. Absolutely.
It exactly sounds like Darth Vader. And I
Yeah,
think that's where
Darth
they
Vader,
pulled that.
Jaws. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
probably calling back to both those things because we
Yeah.
would have been a year after Empire, and
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's just so
good.
creepy, and it's a great fight too.
Great fight.
Yeah, and it's so like clumsy in the best way because they're underwater.
Yep.
They're in tight quarters.
Yep.
There's dead bodies everywhere.
It's
You
nuts.
see like when her hose is leaking,
Yep,
you're like,
yep.
holy shit,
Holy
because
shit.
they're like 500 feet down. Or
Yeah, they
something?
say 584, and
Yeah.
they only have 8 minutes anyway.
Yeah. So there's such a great ticking clock.
Yep.
And you see like, oh, she almost gets killed. The his way out of it is like it isn't like a Deus Ex Machina because the explosive is there.
Yep.
The explosive would be there.
Yeah.
He would use it.
Yep.
He blows the guy up.
Yep.
It's a great, you
Yep.
know, you see
Yep.
the underwater explosion. It's
Yep.
so well done.
Only moment it's like again like did you need to put this leavening moment in is right before he blows up the guy mouths
Oh, shit.
I'm
Yeah,
like, okay.
It's fine. I mean, yeah, I would
Yeah.
have lifted that out. It's
that guy
again,
doesn't know what time the thing's going on anyway.
yeah,
yeah.
that's a feint toward humor that you
Yeah.
don't need.
Yeah.
And
But
it's
it's
so
so
much
good.
less
Overall, it's
egregious.
so good.
Yeah,
Overall,
it's
so
so
good.
great. And I love the shot. The first time I ever saw this in a movie where they get into like the sub and you see the water drain.
Yeah, that
and
was
you
really
see it, and
clever.
it's
Yeah.
so cool. I mean, you've seen that in other movies. I mean, they do it in Jaws 3 2 years
Mhm.
later, but it's just so cool because it's like that tech. I don't know if that tech was new, but I'd never seen that in a movie. I'd
Yeah.
never seen it go from underwater to above water while the camera's standing
Yeah.
still.
Yeah.
And then you get this other sub attacking them.
Second sub,
is
the Mantis
great.
sub, yeah.
It's so
They're
cool.
like, oh, finally, we survived.
Yeah.
We have the thing, we survived. And they're like, shit. And that other sub is smaller, but the guy knows exactly what
This
to
nerdy
do.
guy.
Yep, little nerdy guy punching buttons, ripping out their electrical stuff. You're like,
hitting the
holy
ruins and
shit.
stuff. It's so
Yeah,
cool. And
yeah.
again, it's that escalation of like, okay, we got
You're
past this
always
level.
gonna be in danger,
It's
yeah.
always going to
Yep,
be in danger,
yep.
and it's like everybody wants this thing.
Yeah.
And it shows how smart the bad guys are. Because
Yep.
okay, we'll send the dude in to get the ship. If he, to get them, if he
Yep.
doesn't make it, we got this guy in the sub. If he doesn't make it, we're up top.
Dude, let me give, by the way, credit to Aristotle Christados. That guy does not fucking stop.
No.
Like, you're in, Cortina, he's gonna send the motorcycle guys. The motorcycle guys don't work, he's sending the biathlon guys. Biathlon guy doesn't get you, he's gonna send the fucking hockey players. Like, dude fucking will throw people at
And he
you.
doesn't, at least I don't think he does. He doesn't make the mistake that like that Austin Powers joke. He doesn't put Bond in a death situation
and then
and
walk
just
away.
walk
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
away.
No.
I mean, he does kind of what a smart villain would do almost all the way through it.
Yeah.
Um,
You know what? There's times where I'm watching my daughter play soccer and like they kick 80 goals and they get blocked every time. Like, you know what? You kick 80 goals, one's getting through. Christoph's like throwing 40 sets of different
Yeah.
killers at him. One guy's gonna make it.
yeah.
I'm not. Most of them will, but one guy only takes one.
So then we get to another great sequence, which I think is one of my favorite things. in
coral.
where they're being dragged.
So good. Boy, that's
And this
good.
is from Live and Let Die, the novel,
Mm-hmm.
which is really interesting. So, because that novel's got two things from that novel ends up in two different Bond movies.
Yeah.
This is from the novel, and then Felix Leiter being fed to sharks
Yes.
is from Live and Let Die, the novel.
That brings my one thing, and I almost hesitate to say it about this that I don't quite get.
What?
They go to lengths to show they're on the boat. They're like, patch up his wound. You don't want the sharks to get it out. They go later and he's getting dragged and they show it's cutting him up and there's tons
Yeah.
of blood. The sharks don't go after that. The sharks go after the one guy who falls off the boat
Right.
and isn't bleeding at all.
Right.
Because he's wiggling and did. But the sharks don't go out. The whole point is supposed to be he's bleeding and
Yeah.
the sharks will go and they never
Yeah,
fucking
I mean, they're
play
also moving kind of fast.
that. Yeah, I know.
but
I'm
this
just
is-
saying it.
this
But
is-
it's
this-
such a great scene. It's so
yeah,
fucking
this
cool.
is so scary.
Yeah.
Because again, it's just like low tech.
Yep.
I'm just gonna drag you behind a boat.
Yep.
Until either you drown or until a shark gets
Yep.
you.
Yep.
And again, Bond is just got to figure out a way. She's like,
Low-tech
I didn't
way
do
to
it
do
end
it.
like this.
Yep.
He's like,
Or not.
I got to figure out a way around it.
Yep.
And it's just low tech. He just, he like,
First he cuts the
he
hand
cuts the
thing on the
thing.
coral.
yeah, that's great.
We've
And then
got
he
1
wraps
second.
it around the rock, and he's holding his breath while the thing,
Yep.
and then I mean, it's so well done,
Yep.
and it's so low tech, and it's scary.
Yeah.
Like the photography.
You could feel it. You feel
Yeah.
them running out of breath. You feel the pain when his back gets torn
Yeah.
up. You feel everything.
Yeah, when he gets his leg cut on the coral.
That is, by the way, the one place Kristatos does Austin Power it. He's like, oh, sharks got him. Let's go.
Yeah,
But
a little
okay.
bit, but it's not
It's
like out of the
reasonable. He
realm
just
of
saw his
possibility.
own guy get eaten by sharks.
And he
like,
sees
hell
the
yeah.
sharks. I mean, the only thing, and this is a real squint. I would have waited a couple extra minutes before I climbed up the ladder because the boat.
Yes,
if anyone looked,
they make sure they're looking and it's going away. But yeah,
but like if anybody
Yeah.
had just turned their head, they would have seen two figures
Yeah,
go
hey,
up.
yeah.
I mean, I understand. I'd want to get out of that water as fast as I could.
Yeah.
Because there's sharks in there.
Yeah.
But that scene is so scary.
So
and it's
good.
so well done.
Wow.
And,
Oh, yeah.
and then yes, the tank is there. And she remembers that it's down there, and that's like a clever. Even though it's, I mean, I guess we agree it's not well set up, but it is
Yeah.
well paid off.
Yeah, exactly. So
It's like-
fine, sure.
It's like at least because they would have to do that. I
Yeah.
just would have stayed down there a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But there's that shot also where like there's so many great shots where like she's holding her breath and the shark passes over her.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm
God.
gonna drown, but there's also a fucking shark
Yeah.
there.
Dude, again, the underwater scenes that they shot these scenes underwater. Like, what do they say? Never shoot in water with dogs or kids. Or like,
Yeah.
never shoot in water is one of the main things in movies. And boy, they.
Yeah, it's just such a great
Nuts.
sequence, and this is one of the things I
So
would
well
point to when people say Bond movies are silly, and he always just has like a magic watch to get themselves out of it. I mean,
Mhm.
they really fulfill the promise
Yeah.
of this isn't Moonraker.
Yeah, 100%.
We both love Moonraker, but, like,
100%.
So this whole section, the submarine fight,
Mm-hmm.
them being dragged behind is really just fantastic.
Yeah.
A fantastic sequence is coming, but one of two really stupid things
I
happens.
know. We agree. It's going to be.
Okay.
I even can guess what you're talking about. And you're like, ugh.
So why do you guess?
The stupid macaw giving
Yes.
them the clue to where the thing is.
It's stupid and it's unnecessary because Bond could just go to Columbo and say, where did Kristatos take this thing?
Yeah.
And Columbo says later on, he take it to St. Cyril's because we used to hide here from the Nazis.
Yeah.
Only he would use this as a hideout.
Yeah.
So you already have set up that
In the
there's this guy
notes.
who knows everything about her,
Yeah.
Kristatos, and Bond and Kristatos thinks that Bond is dead.
Yeah.
So he has no reason to
Yeah.
not take him
Yeah,
to
the
this place.
dumb
That,
bird was just a dumb bird.
it was
thing.
so dumb, and it's just unfortunate because it's like it would just lift right out.
Yeah. And you kind of look at Bond, look at the bird, and you're like, does Roger Moore think this is dumb too? I kind of think he does.
Well, he said that
Oh,
he
did
thought
he
it was
later?
dumb. I mean, I wish he'd thrown his weight around more and said
Yeah.
like, "I'm not," because you could see Daniel Craig be like, "I'm not fucking doing this."
Yeah. Yeah.
like a stronger
And
willed guy.
literally 1 minute later, he's like, oh, well, just ask Columbo.
Yeah, I mean, even the Q scene, if he said like, if he just rewrote it, like, we don't know where he took it, but you don't even need the Q scene.
Yeah.
You just cut
No.
right from, we don't know where to go. You cut to the mountain, and Columbo says, "Oh, we used to hide here when we were kids."
I know a guy, maybe. Yeah.
It's full. It's completely tight if you
Yeah.
just do it the other way. So that's stupid. I want to call out. I don't know if my sister's listening, but my sister used to always do an impression of BB when she would say, "I want to win the gold medal." My sister and I watched this movie a ton, and that was always.
One thing I kind of wondered very vaguely is Jakoba Brink, BB's trainer.
Mhm.
Was she like supposed to be an East German or something?
She was
I wonder
German
where
because
they,
she calls him Herr Bond.
Yeah. So
I think
it's
she
kinda
was-
interesting.
she
So
was
that
definitely-
just in terms of like it being another little Cold War thing.
Yeah, she was German.
So yeah,
She was German, East German, because
Yeah.
she goes, "Yeah, Herr Bond."
yeah.
Yeah, and I guess she was
I'd seen you skate before.
yeah, she was famous enough that like Bond knew her as a
Yeah.
famous skater, which
Yeah.
is why she's her mentor. So we talked a lot about John Glenn, the director.
Now we
in-
talk about John Glenn the astronaut. I'm kidding. Sorry.
So John Glenn has a really interesting directorial signature on all of his Bond movies. At least 4 of the 5. I had
Mhm.
not been able to spot this in A View to a Kill, even in a cutscene. Do you have any idea what I'm talking about?
No.
Okay.
I'm curious.
So in 4 out of the 5 movies that he directed, again, I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if it's in A View to a Kill or if it's in a
Mhm.
cutscene. There is a scene where Bond is scared by birds. So when he's climbing the mountain,
Oh, interesting.
and the bird flies
Yeah,
out,
yeah.
and then an Octopussy,
Great-
he's on the ledge.
Great moment. Yep.
He's scared by birds.
Yep.
Living Daylights, he's scared by birds, and License to Kill, he's scared by birds. It's a thing that he did intentionally. Is like his little Hitchcockian thing.
Sure. Why not? Go
Um,
for it, brother.
This mountain climbing scene is fantastic.
So good. And as I said, like, just so well directed
Yeah.
too. The close shots mixed with the long shots mixed
Yeah.
with the so fucking good.
And very, very well motivated because he says if you go on this whatever the north face
Yeah,
of
they'll
it,
see you.
you got to go up this side and get to the basket, and then
Yep.
you can bring us all up. It's a great. It's,
And set up good. Why would you read it? He's like, I've been studying this place because he's my fucking enemy.
for just such an
For
occasion.
just such an occasion. One day I know I'm gonna have to go up there, and this is the day.
Which again, I'm not to murder this point. You don't need the fucking parrot because Columbo has been waiting for this.
Yeah.
He's such a great character and it's
Yeah.
so well motivated. And he's like, yeah, I've been studying this place because I knew one day
Yep.
I was gonna sneak up on this guy.
Yep.
That's why I knew where it was. You don't
Yep.
need the parrot.
Nope.
Okay.
Don't need the
I
parrot.
don't know why
Just
I'm
bring
yelling-
his super great Jerry curled henchman though, like I mentioned earlier. Love that fucking henchman.
So again, this is so he's climbing the mountain and it's so tactile and so real
So real.
and no gadgets, just
No.
things you would take as a
Boom,
mountain
boom,
climber.
Boom, boom, boom.
And then he gets to the top and that henchman kicks him in the face and he rolls off the mountain and he does this long
Oh my gosh,
fall.
it's a terrifying fall to think of. Again, the stuntman doing that.
So the
is
stuntman,
nuts.
okay, so Rick Sylvester did that. He's the guy who skied off the mountain in The Spy Who Loved Me.
Nice.
And did that incredible.
Damn,
he
that
was
guy
a
has
mountain
balls of
climber.
fucking steel.
Yes.
Shit.
He was a mountain climber, and he said in an interview that fall went against every instinct as a mountain climber because I let go. And your instinct is to hold
and
on.
hope that everything's tied in well.
So he
Oh.
fell, and if you see it, it's a long shot. He falls, and then the rope tightens.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think he doubled a lot of. He definitely did the fall.
Yep. Again, speaking of that scene and how great it is, in terms of ramping up the tension, there are 3 contact points. You see the guy go knock out one.
Yeah.
The tension's ramped up. Can James Bond climb
Yeah.
with the shoelace before, like, the race between the,
Brilliant.
that's such a Hitchcockian, like,
So
the
Hitchcock-
tension thing
yeah.
scene is so perfect. And I've seen this movie a million times. You've seen it a million times. Rewatching it for this, something I noticed for the first time in all the things.
Mm.
I always thought he killed that henchman with a knife because he reaches down, he's got some.
Oh, right.
He's not. He kills him with a piton, which
Right.
is much nastier.
Yeah.
He throws a piton, and I remember because when they roll him over there, I'm like, oh, that's a fucking piton sticking out of his
Because he
chest.
doesn't have a knife
Shit.
with him. He only has.
No, he's got 2 knives hanging next to the piton on his belt.
Oh, he does have a knife
Yeah,
with
he's
him.
got. You see a couple knives.
But it's a climbing piton.
Yeah, it's a climbing
Because he pulls it
piton.
off like a
yeah,
like a
for a
vest.
thing. Yeah, and
So why is that worse than a knife?
it's blunter and thicker. I have a couple at home. They're nasty. Yeah.
Oh,
I wouldn't
okay.
wanna get nailed with a gun. It's just like it's cooler. Like if it was a knife, because you see some dangling knives. That's why I always assumed it was a knife he
Oh.
threw. But I don't know why you would be carrying dangling knives. Like underwater, you always have a knife with you. But anyway, it's a piton. You're like, oh, that's
Yeah.
also very. I don't know if you've ever thrown knives or thrown weapons. Anyway, it's
No.
extremely hard to even throw a balanced knife.
Yeah.
Oh, kill piton is nasty.
He actually has a really cool knife kill in the very next movie when he kills one of the twins. There's
Oh
this
yeah,
knife throwing
yeah,
twins.
oh yeah, knock yeah, so
And
good.
This is from my brother, and he goes, "Whoosh," that's for 009.
Yeah.
Very
Yep.
Moore had some cool kills. Yeah. So when he kills that guy, that's a great kill.
Oof.
Um
That was the handsome guy too. It's a very handsome. I call it the John
oh,
Stamos henchman.
Apostus is his name or something.
Yeah, Apostus, I think
Apostus,
something.
because
Yes,
he falls. Yeah, that's a big fall. I would think his body wouldn't be quite as
No,
intact.
it'd be puddled.
I think
It'd be
I
puddled.
think he would be like in a few pieces. But I love that Columbo just like knows him. He's just like, that's
Like,
one of
well,
Because
it's
I guess they think it's
killers.
Bond.
Oh, I didn't thought that.
Because she
You're
says
right.
James when he hits. Because they're so
Oh.
far down. I think they
Yeah.
think it's Bond.
And they're under an overhang. They wouldn't see. You're right.
Yeah.
I hadn't clocked that.
So because that's why they roll him over. He's like, no, this is I know this thing.
Holy shit! You're right. I
They-
hadn't clocked that. That's even better.
Yeah, they think it's Bond.
Even
'cause why
better.
wouldn't they think that?
Yep.
Yeah, I love. So the guys on James Bond radio talk about this thing about sneaky Bond, and
Mm-hmm.
this is great sneaky Bond, like just him skulking and sneaking and like sneaking into the little shack
shack,
and like
yep.
lowering the thing and hiding against the window.
Yep.
I mean, it's really.
Good
Moore didn't get to
tradecraft.
do a lot of like sneaky Bond stuff.
Yeah.
Like, Connery got to do it.
Yeah.
Dalton got to do
Yeah.
it. There just wasn't. This wasn't a thing for
Yeah.
him. I mean, there was a little. It's precious little
Yep.
of it. But I love again.
Silent kill. Can't the one guy? By the way, they're riding up the thing. Henchman looks.
Molina killed him.
Columbus pulls up his gun. He's like, "Fuck no!"
No,
put
Molina
that
gets him
down.
with the crossbow.
Yeah, he pulls the guy with the gun down. He's like, "Use the crossbow. It's quiet. We can't make gunshots
Yeah,
here."
Melina really pulls her weight because she shoots the guy, and then stabilizes his wound.
Yeah.
Because she only wounds him.
Yeah.
She shoots him like in the shoulder.
Yeah.
So that guy's
Yeah.
probably still alive.
Yep. I also love the part they're leaving the thing when the guy's like,
And
Columbus first of all holds his gun shut, and then he's like, you go ahead, Melina, I'll be right behind you, and then goes back and fucking knocks him out.
This bit with like Bond and Melina and Columbo and his dudes
Yep.
is the opposite of my problem with the climax of Spectre.
Mm-hmm.
The climax of Spectre, I don't know what your feelings on Spectre is.
I
The
like it,
movie
actually.
Spectre.
Yeah, I quite like it.
I'm kind of down on it.
Mhm.
And one of the reasons, and that's a whole other podcast.
I can tell you why I like it. That probably has nothing to do with anything.
Yeah, Spectre to me is the most disappointing Bond movie. I'm not saying it's the
Mhm.
worst, but it is the most disappointing in terms of like what I wanted,
Mm-hmm.
where the franchise was, and
Mhm.
what I walked out with. But more specifically to this, what I didn't like about Spectre, one of the things I didn't like about Spectre was the climax of the movie. It's Bond, M and Q, and Moneypenny and Tanner. It was like the Scooby Gang.
Yeah.
It's just like these people who like shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
This felt like, because I like when Bond has like a whole army with him, like
Yeah.
in some of the but this was like a good midpoint because it was like with these people that he needed. He needed Columbo to tell him
Yep.
how to get up there.
Yep.
He needed Melina.
Yep.
He needed those dudes,
Yeah.
just the muscle.
Yep.
And I liked. I thought this was like
You know what?
that done right.
He didn't need Melina, but she earned her place there.
That's what I mean.
Even better.
Right.
Yeah.
He probably didn't need Melina because he says we're only 5 men, and she goes and
One
one
woman.
woman
Yeah.
whips up the
And by the way,
crossbow.
that also means to me that at some point they're like, okay, Melina's coming, and she's like, I'm gonna need a crossbow. She turns to Columbo, like this is in my head canon. She turns to Columbo, she's like, I need a crossbow, and Columbo's like, Jerry Curl, go get a crossbow for her, and like that guy had to go to some shop and pick up a crossbow.
You don't think she has her own? Oh no,
Well,
'cause she was
keep-
going to buy one in
she-
Cortina, right?
It's the third crossbow she has,
Right.
Because she threw hers away when she killed Gonzalez. You see it left on the floor of the.
She doesn't get one in
Spain.
Cortina.
She doesn't get one in Cortina.
She
so
orders
yeah,
one.
yeah, exactly.
Hope
so,
she
yeah.
got.
So
Melina
there's
got a refund for that
yeah.
crossbow. In
Barrett
Cortina.
crossbows. They had a whole ad thing around it.
Oh, that's
around the
cool.
crossbows in that movie.
Oh, that's
Again, there's no reason you would necessarily know this about me, even though we've known each other for years. But I'm an archer,
okay.
and so I know bows and crossbows.
So the crossbow was
yeah.
a trade-in, was product placement.
Yeah,
That's
that was a
smart.
product placement. Barrett
I
crossbows.
mean, Bond created product placement. At least
Yeah.
in my thinking.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's a product placement.
That's good. That's a good one. It's
Yep,
smart.
Yep.
It's very well integrated.
And on the famous poster that they had to pull for the movie. So
yeah.
Yeah.
So this is something we're probably gonna have to cut.
Yeah.
Because it's really inappropriate. BB is really annoying in this last stretch. She
Yeah.
doesn't really need to be up there.
Yeah.
She gets slapped.
she's
by
there to
so
show
many
that they're
different
bad
people.
guys. Yeah.
Like Cristado slaps her,
Yeah.
and then Kriegler slaps her.
Yeah, she's getting
it's like
smacked around.
It's a really bad laugh because she just gets slapped by 2 or 3 people in such I waited
Okay.
for like Brink to slap her. It
Yeah.
sounds like Airplane.
Yeah.
Where there'd be like a lot of people like lined up to like slap her. I mean, there's no real I mean, I like that she's there because like she's like with Cristados,
Yeah.
but it's like I don't need more of her. I mean, it's fine that she's there.
Yeah.
Lynn Holly Johnson was an ice skater
Yeah.
that they obviously try
Yeah.
to teach to act,
Yeah.
as opposed to so she's just.
Yeah.
I don't even consider her a Bond girl because he doesn't sleep with her.
No,
and
she's
just like
She's
part
a
of this
character.
movie.
Yeah, she's not a Bond.
But yeah, it's just funny that everybody slaps her. But I love how real the climax is, like this fight, the fight that they have in there.
Yeah.
It's just like really like it's like tactile.
Yep.
And really just like
It's a They Live style fight. Just two people just smacking,
Yeah.
duking it out for a while.
and I love that Columbo and Cristados.
yes,
do,
had to
like,
get their own separate fight.
Yeah, and then he's like yelling at her, like, "You're gonna pay for it." and
Same
it's,
thing, like
yeah.
desperately grabbing his leg.
But
Like
you
you're
s-
not fucking getting away.
Yeah, you see like the hatred. It's like so
Yes.
character
Yeah.
driven. And yeah, and then I love that. I mean, Bond doesn't kill the villain, which has only happened a couple times in this franchise.
Yeah.
Like Columbo like Melina's gonna kill him,
Yeah.
and then he's just like, don't. And she's like on the verge of tears. She's like, out of my way. And then Columbo kills him,
Yeah.
which is like more fitting. It's his like.
Yes, it's
he
his-
has
yes.
more of a. I mean, Melina obviously has a legitimate grievance, but
Yeah.
like it's more fitting that Columbo kills her because he spares her
Yes.
that
Yep. Yes.
trauma that's
yep,
coming.
Yep.
and he
He
and it's
avenges
like
the betrayal he's felt for literally
Like,
it's the 80s.
yeah,
it was
decades.
in the 40s.
Yeah.
40 years that
Yeah.
betrayal.
So it's just and again, I mean, except for Thunderball, when else has Bond not killed the main bad guy? Not counting Blofeld where he escapes.
Yeah.
I mean, like, when has there like been a bad guy killed
Yeah.
and it's not Bond who does it?
Yeah.
Thunderball's the only one I could think of.
Huh.
I mean, I'd really have to think about it.
Yeah.
And that's
I'd
very
have to go down and listen.
that because today it's like, oh, it's too passive. Bond has to kill the bad guy. You know,
Look, by those standards, the whole end, Bond doesn't kill the bad guy.
Mhm.
Bond doesn't. The Russians, it's like it's Dayton.
Bond
like,
doesn't
that
kill
whole thing.
Goldfinger.
Yeah.
Famously, Bond doesn't kill Goldfinger. He dies in an accident because the plane.
Oh, that's.
I mean, the gunshot goes off in the plane. Goldfinger gets sucked out.
Yeah.
Bond kills Oddjob a little bit by by
Electrocuting,
mistake.
yeah.
So Bond. So those are the three where
Yeah.
Bond that I can think of:
But,
Goldfinger, Thunderball, and this one.
Yeah.
It would never happen
General
today.
Gogol. Yeah, no, and again, the
I
whole
guess he doesn't kill the bad guy in Casino Royale. Sorry, Casino Royale. He does not kill the bad guy. He doesn't kill the
That's true.
chief, and he doesn't kill Mr. White. So yeah, those are four.
Does he not kill- Oh no, he doesn't kill Mr. White. I forgot about
Yeah,
that.
that's how
When
he
they're in
shoots
the
him in the
next
leg.
movie, the other people came by. Like they say, they have people everywhere. I didn't
Right.
think they meant it. Yeah.
So Bond. That's four movies where Bond doesn't kill the bad guy. What
Well,
did I
there's
say?
plenty of bad guys.
I mean,
who
not
go
counting
around.
Blofeld, where Blofeld escapes. You
Yeah,
can count
yeah.
those. But that's different.
Yeah.
That's like it isn't somebody else killing Blofeld.
Yeah.
Because Blofeld escapes in 3 movies in a row.
Yeah.
But that's not like somebody else killing
Yeah.
him. But I love when Golgo shows up and just holds his hand out for the
Yep.
ATAC. It's so fucking cold.
So cold. The whole thing. I know who you are. You know who I am.
Right.
Give me that. And then at the end, it's like,
Yeah. He's like, all right, I
fair
destroyed
enough.
it.
This is a game. Remember, Cold War. It's a great game.
Although it's kind of weird because like couldn't the British just recreate that? I mean, it isn't really détente. Like the ATAC, the British
We
could
don't
just,
have it.
right,
Yeah,
but the
yeah.
British could just make another one.
No, technically speaking, Bond would have been just as happy destroying it in the fucking submarine.
Right.
Like they don't need one. You don't get the impression that's the only ATAC. It's on the system. Also, like, can't you reprogram it so that like I'm sure it's not anyway. There's a whole bunch
Yeah.
of things about all that thing. The ATAC being destroyed is a great shot. It doesn't make any sense by the physics of how
Oh.
that would have happened.
Yeah,
But
talk
like
about it.
the slide, it like even though it's falling end over end, somehow when it hits the body, it like slides.
It makes a sound of
horizontally,
like an explosion. It's in slow motion.
Shatters, but it looks cool as shit. It was a fun thing for them to shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gogol and the whole thing. Also, Gogol's henchman has an Israeli weapon, even though he's a Russian. I don't know why. He's got
But
a
Uzis
Uzi in the
were-
thing.
I don't know,
But it was a
Uz-
big hench thing.
Uzis were everywhere.
big hench thing
and
then, yeah.
people liked. I worked on a show called Sons of Guns,
Mhm.
where we talked a lot of, obviously we're talking about guns. Uzis were really popular. It wasn't just the Israelis who had
Fair
them.
enough, yeah.
People, even like anti-Semites, liked Uzis.
Yeah,
Like
okay.
anti-Semites, are like Uzi is a fucking cool gun.
Yeah.
You know, like so Uzis were extreme because the Secret Service had it when Reagan got shot. Our Secret Service
Yeah.
had Uzis.
Oh, fair enough. Okay.
yeah. So
Yeah.
so Uzis were very, again, even like white supremacists had to give it up for the Jews.
I was thinking, because specifically, I was thinking, I'm like, he's not carrying a Russian weapon.
Mhm.
Is the point? They're in Greece, neutral country. If something happens, do they not want to be found with Russian weapons?
I think just
I'm sure
Uzi-
I'm heavily overthinking.
I think
that.
just Uzis were very
Or
du
cool, it was
jour
cool, yeah, 100%.
in action movies like Uzis, and I think other governments were using Uzis.
Yeah.
It wasn't
So-
it wasn't Israeli, but the Israelis were selling them
It's-
to everybody.
Yeah, and it's clearly supposed to look like a Russian copter. I'm sure it wasn't. It was
Yeah,
some standard.
Right, but
like
this
that,
dude, this dude,
Yeah.
Gogol's
No,
the head of the KGB.
So cool, yeah, so cool. I
Go-
love that whole thing.
Yeah, Gogol wouldn't be there himself because we know the character a little bit. It's like M showing up himself.
Yeah, exactly.
It would be
but,
some
but
sleep
it's a cool thing. That's Dayton.
Dayton.
You don't have it. I don't have it.
Okay, 3 more things I want to get to, and they're all
Mhm.
like really big. So, we'll do the bad news first.
Uh,
This Margaret Thatcher scene, is this the
Cringeworthy.
worst last scene of the entire franchise?
Cringe-worthy.
It's so stupid.
Even at the time.
Well, I don't know. That's the thing I'm wondering about. Like, because the woman who plays Margaret Thatcher and the guy who plays her husband were known for that
They
impression.
were known comedians, yeah.
It's so stupid. And the parrot's involved. So
Dumb fucking parrot.
um
Introduces one last bit of Q-Tech that you hadn't seen before for some reason. The watch with the messages on it. Isn't that in that?
yeah, it's in that.
Okay.
That's I think
Getting
here's
pulled
another thing.
out of nowhere.
Like the other parrot thing, this would lift right out. You could have just said, call Bond, cut to them on the boat.
Yep.
He takes off his thing.
Yep.
Bond, and they jump in. It would have just
Yeah.
been a lot shorter.
Yep, didn't need it.
So almost all 5 of the John Glenn movies have a terrible last scene. To varying degrees. This is the worst of them, but let's stick with this one for now. This is like dumber. If this had been in Moonraker, it wouldn't have bothered me because
It's all
Moonraker is so silly
Yeah,
throughout.
Yeah.
But this is just so dumb,
awful.
and it's again like somebody seeing this would walk out and be like, James Bond's stupid, James Bond is cheesy, and could you blame them?
Yeah.
I mean, I mean,
It
there's
was
not
such
much.
a cheap shot. Not that I'm defending, obviously, but like it just, it's so stupid.
Like it's like Margaret Thatcher thinks she's talking to a fucking parrot.
I think
I mean,
it was
thinks she's talking to
supposed-
James Bond. And
Yeah,
it's like,
I think it was supposed to be something. Like when she slaps Dennis's hand, like, haha, he's a
Yeah.
whipped husband. Like
Yeah.
the whole thing. It just, so I think it was just supposed to be some like, let's make something for the kids who love.
because you never see the prime minister in any other movies. That's what I like. It's
No,
like,
it doesn't
it's
make
like you
any
never see the
sense.
president in like in the good American action movies. You hear you hear about the president. You never see the president. You hear the PM.
Yeah.
You never see the PM. That's what's so cool about
Yeah.
Bond. It's just like the PM
He's a
or number 10.
functionary. Yeah.
It's like it only goes as high as M.
Yeah.
Or the
Yeah.
minister, Frederick Gray,
And
who's in
of
this
all
one.
the things for the prime minister to call him about saving, this was again arguably kind of the lowest
Low
stakes.
tech.
Like
You
it
recovered
wasn't
a machine. It wasn't
Yeah.
like you saved the
like
world. Like in-
Moonraker, she was going to exterminate humanity. Like, give him a call for that one.
Yes,
here
you're
you
right.
retrieved our piece of lost tech for a little bit.
The
that's probably
previous
at
two
80
movies,
of.
he literally saves the world
Yes.
from becoming an ocean and becoming exterminated.
Yeah,
That rates a call from the prime minister.
Yeah.
This is a relatively, which is what I like about it, a relatively
it's cool.
humdrum,
100%.
humdrum assignment.
It's a real. Yep.
The kind of thing that he wouldn't even get a medal for.
Yeah.
This is like what Bond does.
Yeah. He should. He has 7 of these assignments a year.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the whole 00 section does.
Yeah.
So it's just so fucking stupid.
Yeah.
And again, like the earlier parrot scene, you could lift it right out.
Yeah.
And these two stupid things wouldn't be in
You know
it.
what? I'm going to propose this. This is something I learned years ago from Mystery Science Theater 3000 of all things. You do not have to accept the ending that a filmmaker has given you.
Mm.
I'm choosing to not accept that as the movie. The movie to me ends on the boat. They don't pick up.
Yes.
I'm revising for your eyes only, and that is where the movie ends.
So let's end at the beginning. I thought about this a lot even before I knew we were going to podcast this
Mhm.
movie. So, and this is actually two-pronged. As we record this, we don't know who the next James Bond is going to be, but we know there's going to be another James Bond
Mm-hmm.
because of how the last movie ended and because Daniel Craig is done.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Bond 26 should open the exact same way with him at a graveyard visiting Tracy's grave, not Vesper's grave, visiting Tracy's grave. I think they should pick up the continuity
Yep.
of
Yep.
all the Bonds through
Yep.
Die Another Day
Yep.
and do what this scene was supposed to do,
Yep.
which was link a new guy
Yep.
to the chronology.
Yep.
I think the Craig movies are closed loop, meaning, well, because he's dead,
Their
so it has to
Kelvin
be.
universe. Yeah.
It's its own universe because he's dead. Vesper, that whole thing.
Yeah, I'd really like that.
Because when he died, which I thought was an interesting move, I thought
Yeah.
that was a bold move. I liked it more than I didn't like it. My thought was like, okay, 26 can come like it's coming after Die Another Day, or not even Die Another Day, just like
Yes.
it ties
I
to the
would
continuity.
Deeply like that. There are a couple things I dislike about the Daniel Craig run, not anything to do with his performance or
Right.
and those are what they are. What I don't like is the way that they work with the rest of the James Bond franchise.
Well, it's like a
and things
comic
like
book
that.
series. Like some people, I'm not a big comic guy, but like in some comic book series, Superman dies, Batman's an old man.
Yes.
You do this shit in like a run, and then you close the loop.
Yeah.
Now, when they killed Bond, obviously that wasn't going to be the last James Bond movie. I don't want to see an origin story again.
No. It was great that they
did
that,
one.
yeah, but yes.
But I don't want to
me,
see, because they brought Spider-Man back, and they did the origin story again. Everybody was like, I don't need to see this again.
Yeah.
They keep killing Batman's parents, except for the last one.
Yeah.
So I think
Yes.
that 26 opens with him as the guy, as if he were following Brosnan, meaning
Yeah.
like he's got this dead wife.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd love that. I'd love that.
I don't know. That would be.
They
a really
won't do
cool-
it, but I love it.
Well, I don't know what they won't do.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, and this I may cut out. Do you have any preference? Well, who do you think the next James Bond should be? You're talking about the actor now.
Yeah.
Do you have anyone you like?
I actually would have bought into them not having it be a white dude, having it be a woman, having a person of color. Like I would have totally bought into that, frankly, and I would have totally dug that. Like when they picked up the person that I wanted to be Bond after Brosnan, I guess it was a guy who appeared in some of the Bond movies who
Colin Salmon.
yes, that's who I wanted to be Bond.
He would've been great.
Super bad. That's who I wanted to be the next Bond. And so, oh well, it didn't happen for him, but
I think it should be a man. I like the idea of him being not white. I did like Regé Jean Page and like Henry Golding.
yeah, that would have been great. Would have been totally good. Look,
I mean, those guys could still do it.
Yeah,
They're certainly
no,
young enough.
I mean, do you have somebody in mind that you would prefer? I don't. There's some people that I see them and I'm like,
I named the two guys that I think would be great: Henry Golding and Regé Jean Page. One is Asian, one is black, but they're both English.
Yeah.
Crucially, I do think he needs to be English, or at least in the Commonwealth.
He absolutely needs to be, Commonwealth at least.
Yeah, I mean, he could be Australian or something, or South African, but he cannot be American. Those are the two I would say would be number one. I think Jack Lowden could be good from Slow Horses.
I've sadly not watched it. I don't know what everyone tells me how good it is.
Here's the thing. Let's talk about this though. The guys on James Bond, and we'll wrap up with this. And I think you would agree with this. The guys on James Bond Radio, shout out to James Bond Radio, which is a great podcast. If you're into Bond, you should listen to. I don't think they've updated it in a long time. They broke it down into four. There's 4 boxes you have to check to play James Bond. 1, you have to be handsome and or sexy.
Yep.
Not,
Totally legit.
You have to be tough or believable physically.
Yeah.
You don't have to be like a tough guy, but you have to be physically believable in stunts. Like Tom Cruise isn't tough, but he does his own stunts.
Yeah.
He's totally believable physically.
Yeah.
You have to have good sexual and or romantic chemistry with women. And you have to have a sense of humor. You have to bring off the humor.
Yeah.
Now, 5 of these guys have fallen short in at least one of those boxes. For me, Sean Connery checked all 4 of those boxes in flank, which is why he's my favorite James Bond.
Yeah.
He was attractive. He was tough. He was really good with the one-liners.
Yeah.
And he had good chemistry with all the women.
Yeah.
The other 5 guys fall short in one of those boxes. Now, this is the toughest he's ever been in a Bond movie, and he's credible. But that's usually where he falls.
Yeah,
he's not a dude that like you look at and like, I don't want to fuck with
He's
that
winning
guy.
a fight. Yeah.
And that's fine. I think he went a different way.
Yeah.
Dalton wasn't really great with the humor. Now the movies worked around it.
Yeah.
Craig was okay with the
physicality.
humor. So it's like, I don't think we're gonna find a guy who checks all 4 of those boxes.
Yeah.
But 3 out of those 4
Yeah.
need to be.
Yeah.
So I do think the franchise is in good hands in 3 or 4 different ways. One, Stephen Knight's writing it. He's a very good writer. Denis Villeneuve is a really interesting director. They try to get him on one of the Craig ones.
That's going to be interesting.
I do think David Heyman, who produced the Harry Potter movies, and not only produced it, but like discovered the book, and also produced Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and Marriage Story and Amy Pascal.
Very solid resume.
So like really good producers
Yeah.
that also have like fucking class.
Yeah.
Because this is the first Bond movie that don't have the Broccoli's.
Yeah.
And I think you were the one to break that news to me, one of many that day. I was grief stricken.
Yeah.
That
I
the
know, it
Broccoli's
felt-
weren't going to be involved, and I really thought it was over. And those 3 personnel announcements have lessened my. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like it's in really good hands.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people have wanted to be involved in this franchise, Spielberg and Scorsese and
Yeah.
Soderbergh
Yeah.
and all kinds of people have even like pitched on it.
Yeah.
And so we're getting our first Bond movie that doesn't have the name Broccoli on it ever.
Yeah.
Not counting Never Say Never in the 67 Royale. So it's exciting and terrifying. Like we're in this as Bond fans, and we're also at this point where the actor who plays Bond is going to be younger than us.
Yeah.
Which is
Well,
it's going to change my relationship to the whole franchise anyway, even if the Broccoli's were still involved.
Yeah, and again, it's just as you pointed out a moment ago, it's also the first time that in some way, it's going to have to be a reboot because he died at the end of the last one.
But does it, though?
But not necessarily. But like they're resetting after the last movie. It's not directly continuous with the previous movie for the first time.
I think the new
and we
movie,
don't know how it's going to go, how they're going to play it.
I think this is what I think it should be.
Mm-hmm.
He'll be younger.
Mm-hmm.
I think he should still be James Bond.
Mhm.
He'll be 35, 40 years old,
Mhm.
whatever it is. I think it should just be another mission.
Oh, absolutely.
As if this followed.
Yeah.
As if this followed Die Another Day.
Yeah. No, I agree.
I think
I just
interconnecting
don't
the
know how they're gonna
movies-
do it.
Interconnecting
That's
the
the
movie-
anxiety to me is I don't know whether they're going to do that or not. But that's
I
how
don't
I'm
know.
thinking.
I have to hope that I
anxiety
just
in a
have to
sense that I
hope
care at
that
all.
they I don't know. We'll have to just see
Yeah. Yep.
see what they
I
do.
guess nobody knows till you know.
Yeah. So anyway, so Scott, where can people find you if they want to find you?
HollywoodSapien.com. That was my thing that I wrote about Hollywood and TV and movies for a while. But other than that, I make things for other people now.
Okay, you can find me on Instagram, on Letterboxd. You can find me on Vimeo, see some short films that I've done. You can find me on Script Revolution. If you have any questions for me, you could write them at hindsightingquestions@gmail.com. Scott, thank you so much for joining me.
Always a pleasure. I hope we get to do it again.
Absolutely. All right, that's our show. Next episode, John Steinfeld and I dive into our final 1981 of the season, Body Heat. Till then, looking forward to looking back.